We are connected. All right. So it claims that we are streaming to the world right now, and that we are currently being watched by 575,000 people. Let's see. Am I live? Tell me if I'm live.
I'm in the thing.
Oh, is it working? Hi, peepers. Hello, peepers. Yep, it says we're live. Cool.
Allier Brand.
Oh, is he already here?
First.
Damn. Oh, yeah, we got it. That's all I got. I know, we should put that sound in there. Isn't that like the horns from the soccer games?
Yeah, something like that. It's like like a classic air horn sound.
Yep. All right, so let's do. I'm gonna do a little Tweety poo and be like, the TechTalk is live, and then I'll put in our little title here. By the way, that episode is episode 49,000, whatever. I just made that up.
Yeah,
So,
I have no idea.
I just want to make sure everybody watching knows that, so they're not like, yeah, you're wrong. It's not. I kept count. It's actually this many.
Man, if we're wrong, tell us what freaking episode number
Yeah,
it is.
if you know the real episode, I'll put it in there for real. All right, so there we go. I'm gonna do live. Oh, actually, what am I doing? I got AI now. I need AI to do this for me. So I'm gonna go to chat.openai.com. Let it know that I'm human for some reason. It asks me that
George
now every
Blakely
time.
3, the third.
I'm gonna say, okay, so give me 3 hashtags that are best for this YouTube video title to get more views on Twitter, and then I'm just gonna post it. And this is how lazy I am now. All right, it says hashtag AI reads minds, hashtag Twitch TOS gone wild, and hashtag breaking tech news. Oh wow, that's not very original, is it? Here, try again.
I mean,
it just basically made my title into hashtags.
Yeah, right.
Okay, mind reading tech, Twitch. Ooh, Twitch controversy. Dun, dun, dun. And Twitch tech news. There we go. Now we're getting some good ones. All right, so I'll put those in there because now we let AI run our lives, right? We just let it make decisions for us. Because
kind of, I mean, I do need like a virtual assistant.
I use it a lot.
I just need something to tell me what to do.
I know, right? I do actually use AI a lot. Like, it definitely gets its $20 a month worth of subscribership from me.
Oh, for sure.
All right, I'm going to post that on the book face. So hopefully I'm putting in the right link here. And I should probably go put it over on the Discord because that's where discourse happens. There and here. Of course, we do a little discourse here, too. Let's see, is the machine warmed up yet? Nope, still says heat. Man, that thing takes forever to heat up. Also, that thing draws 1,500 watts. Actually, you can't even see it. The smoke machine right here?
Yeah?
It draws 1,500 watts, man. It's like, it takes up an entire circuit, so I'm going to have to figure out how to, like, power that a little bit better without blowing my house up. All right, so Discord, where's Discord at? I always forget what Discord's icon looks like. There it is. Okay, it's a little controller. There it is. Okay, so now I can say TechTalk is live. Everybody. Everyone. There we go. Gotta use the right tag. There we go. Okay, so everyone. Okay, are you sure you want to harass 5,888 people? Yes, I am sure. There we go. All right, so now everybody should know that we are live. Welcome everybody to Tech Talk, episode number, I already forgot what it is.
Whatever it is.
In the title. I hope you're having a fantastic week, month, year, or even millennium, because everybody wants to have a good millennium. Today we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence and how it can read your mind. Spooky. That is pretty spooky. I want to tell you, dude, it's like it's fucked up actually.
I mean, with some caveat, it's not like beaming you from space or anything.
No. But it is going to potentially show people like whatever you're thinking at the moment they take the pictures. Right. So, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, because like I drift off all the time, like when I'm in an MRI or I'm just getting imaging done. And then it's like, wait, could they actually go back and retroactively look at previous fMRIs and like generate images from that data? Like that last time I was in the fMRI and I was thinking about like, you know, like I don't know, like choking myself in a public bathroom or something like that. Like, is somebody going to go back and find the fMRI image and like generate AI images and video of what I was thinking about while I was inside of it? Like, that creeps me out, dude. And then in addition to that, we're going to talk about our favorite other streaming platform, which is Twitch, who, for some reason, Jeff Bezos just can't get enough money. So he keeps trying to screw everybody over, and he's doing some pretty bad little things right now. And we're going to call Mr. Bezos out on it And hopefully he doesn't have the black helicopters come kill us.
I think was it Dan Clancy or something like that is the CEO of Twitch?
Oh, so Bezos doesn't, he appointed, I guess he would appoint a CEO though, wouldn't he? Like that actually would make sense. I keep forgetting like Elon does things a little bit differently.
Like Twitch is owned by Amazon, but they're not like absorbed into, right? Right. I guess technically a...
And that would make sense too, because Bezos, I mean, his experience doesn't really lie in media, right? Like his experience is in marketing, like retail, selling things. All right, let's see. Okay, that's on. Just making sure I got my dashboard. Why can't I see that? Hold on here. Why don't I have my dashboard here?
Yeah, Dan Clancy.
So Dan Clancy. I heard
Bezos retired several years ago. Yeah, the same way that fucking Bill Gates retired.
Yeah,
from Bill Gates, Microsoft, right? Like, yeah, I mean,
that's not retired.
He's retired, but he's still like, I'm sure he still is like a board member and stuff. Like, he still has some like controlling influence over the company. He's not like,
yeah, when Gates stepped down as CEO, he was still pretty active, like in the company. You know, he still was a board member. And and he still, like, if he didn't like the way something was going, he would step in and shut it down. So, and he did several times. So when I was working there, so it's not like he was this like super passive dude.
Or like how many times has Schultz left Starbucks and then come back because they keep fucking it up?
I actually think the reason Gates left, like the reason Gates stepped down as CEO, is because he felt that he was a liability to the company because the government kept coming after him for being a monopoly.
Oh, and so I imagine the work with like, the Gates Foundation and stuff too.
Yeah, and by him stepping down, I think it took a lot of heat off the company. So that was like, but he's still, I mean, that's the funny thing is it's like, it's completely illusionary, right? It's just an act. It's not like he really did step down. He didn't just like leave and go, okay, Ballmer, you run the show. I'm never going to question anything you say. Like, obviously that's not true. I'm going to see if I can get my Edge browser scene working here so that we can show some stuff. Wait, do I have
that was mostly for just sarcastic. I'm not really that.
So wait, is that the right one? Got it. Okay, there we go. And I got to do a control. What am I gonna do? Control F or something? I'm trying to figure out how to use OBS here again. Okay, so if I put this over on this window on this side and make it full screen, there. Okay, there we go. I fixed it. I fix. All right, so I think I got everything. I think I got chat now. I can see Jogel. I can see Gregor Stakar. I can see Shan. We got Shan in the chat. Oh, hey, Shan, how's it going? We got Thumbtack Jake. Yeah, we got Thumbtack Jake in the house. We got Timmer in chat. We got Retro My Bits hanging out. Retro My Bits, by the way, kicked us off with $10. Make me holler.
Yeah, so man, right on. Thanks very much.
Actually, here is the smoke machine ready. Oh, it is. It is. Should we give him a little blasty poo for that $10? Let's do it. Let's crank up like boom fire.
Oh, cool with the lights in it and stuff.
Yeah, we got a little light pattern going on there. Cool. Boom. I can also change the color if I turn these knobs. See, I got that color, and then turn on. Got that color. I just don't know what color it is because I have to like mix red, green, and blue. Oh God, it's bright. I got to mix red, green, and blue in my head because I have a knob for red, green, and blue, and I'm like, okay, what mixture of these knobs generates what color? And yeah, so look at that, man. $10 get you a full fog machine action now and LED screen. Look at that, man. Double your money, double your pleasure. All right, and I think I've got the web browser scene thing working here. Let me try this really quick. Can you guys see this if I do this? Can you see that? Oh, you can see it. Look. Oh, you're not on here. I got to put you on here. Wait a second.
Okay.
I got to fix that. Because you got to be showing too, dude. You got to see facial expressions of both of us. Both of us or none of us, I always say. Yeah. So we got to put in the old AuxxZillary dog. Wait, you're there. Why are you not showing up? Why you no show up? I don't get it. Oh, wait, there it is. There it is. Let me move you over here. I'm going to put you up on the top. I'm going to put you right there. And it says, you are not visible. Yet I open it and it shows your face clearly. Okay, so why doesn't that work? So control via OBS, adjust frame rate. That's fine. Like, it shows your... Oh, wait. Is that right? Oh, there you are. I got you, boo. Check this out. Da-da-da-da-da-da. See? There you are. And up there in the corner with me. Yep. I wonder if should I put you like right under me, or should I put you over here in the other corner so we're like staring at you?
I'd say underneath. That's good.
A little underneath action right there. There we go. All right, look at that. We're both a little box, little bush over there. All right, cool beans. Okay, so now I can go back to the original scene. And we are good to go. Checking our stats here really quick. It looks like, this is a problem with YouTube. In the dashboard, if you pop out chat, it still takes up the space. It just says nothing to see here. We popped out. Like if you pop out chat, like in the browser window, it's like, okay, well, what's the point of popping out chat if it still takes up all the space? Because that was like the whole point for me popping it out was to get that space back so I could see it.
You can close the window. Or there's like a theater mode or something, right?
Not that I see. Although we do have, let's see here. How many people are in here right now?
Yeah,
we got 82 concurrent. Okay, so how do you do the theater mode thing? Hit T?
Yeah.
In the dashboard?
Oh, in the dashboard. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's no.
Yeah, so like in the dashboard, there's a chat window on the side, and then it shows like your stream statistics, analytics, stream health, all that stuff. But if you make chat go away because you want to take, you want to get back like 30% of your screen, it pops the chat out the window, but then it keeps the same exact space, just blank with an image, and it says, we popped out chat. And it's like in Twitch, if you do that, it collapses the window, so you reclaim the space.
Right.
Let's see here. Will you be watching the Xbox Showcase tomorrow? I did not know there was an Xbox Showcase tomorrow. What is being showcased? Do you know?
Probably Starfield. I don't know, whatever exclusive junk they got coming.
Oh, is it just like the announced games and stuff? Like it's not a new console announcement or anything.
They might, but I would be a little surprised if they did that.
Yeah, like I'd say we're not quite due for a new console yet. Although GPU technology has been moving at a pretty quick clip. I mean, what generation was in the Xbox Series X? Like, what would that be considered AMD wise? Like Nvidia equivalent? You don't know? Maybe you guys would know in chat. Like, let me know. Like, what would be the equivalent PC GPU to like what is on capability wise? I know there's a lot of other factors, but capability wise, like the chip that's inside of say an Xbox Series X, right? The latest version of the Xbox. What would be comparable to that in a PC? Because my guess would be that was pre-RTX, right? Because I don't think Series X did ray tracing and stuff when that dropped. So if it does, then that would be like at least a 20 series. But now we're up to what? Like 4090 Ti or something? Did you hear that Call of Duty might have been hacked? I have not heard that.
I mean, like just cheaters and stuff, or what?
Yeah, like what do you mean by like? Do you mean like their database got hacked or something? I'm of the mind that I think everything is going to get hacked eventually. I genuinely do feel like at this point that there is enough social engineering skill out there and there's enough tools out there that with enough time you can hack anything. Like even the most Fort Knox technology that you don't think you could ever get into, if you just started today down that path and made it your life, you would get in at some point. Like there's no way to completely keep you out because all you have to do is keep calling that company until you get one weak person that has just enough power to like get your toe in the door. And then with your toes in the door, you can just work it from there. Like, have you ever seen like, God, what's his name? The social engineer guy that does the pen testing. Deviant Ollam. Do you ever watch him? So Deviant Ollam is like this guy that gets hired by companies to come in and find weaknesses, like either getting into their network or physically getting into their buildings and getting into their secure areas. Yeah, and he always does. Like he gets a job. It's like he always finds his way in. It doesn't matter how secure the building is. And the methods that he used sometimes are so ridiculously stupid and simple that you wouldn't think they would work. And it's because the company's guard is really high for like things that they're expecting, but for like normal everyday things, they don't even think about it. Like you can walk in the front door of like Microsoft or whatever as the dressed up as a UPS driver and drop off a package for somebody in the building and be like, hey, I really got to use the bathroom. And they'll just buzz you in the door. Right. And then you're like through the door. And then what you do is you just walk past the bathroom, go grab you some stuff out of the break room, and then go change into some other clothes in a conference room or whatever and walk around. Oh, okay. Go take care of business. But yeah, you literally get past the front desk, and then once you're past the front desk, every employee in the building thinks you belong there because once everybody's in the building, they take their badges off, and a lot of people walk around without any badges on. And so they figure that, because you're behind that door, you obviously belong here. So as long as you act like you're comfortable and you own the place, nobody questions it. And so you can just have free roam of a company. So he'll like walk in, he'll get past the front desk, he'll go wandering upstairs and around, walking into people's offices and shit and just like messing with their computers and stuff like that. And if somebody comes along and questions them like, hey, like, what are you doing? I haven't seen you around here. Oh yeah, no, I just got hired last week. Hey, how's it going? My name's so-and-so, make something up and be like, oh yeah, how you doing today? And he's gotten so far as to even get security to help him get into places. Like, he didn't name the company for obvious reasons because he doesn't want to, show a security hole. But he said one of the companies he actually went in with a USB thumb drive, and his goal was to get a payload onto one of the computers so that he could prove that anybody could just walk in off the street and get a virus on their internal network. And not only did he do it, he actually got security to help him, because he literally called security. Like, he went to the building, went to the front desk, called security from the front desk, like with the help of the person behind the desk, like, hey, I'm here to fix so-and-so servers. They're like, oh, we don't have you on the books. Oh, man, we really got to fix this problem. So here, just let me call security. They'll clear it up for you. Calls up security, says, hey, I'm here from so-and-so. We're supposed to be like fixing the server. We really need some help. This is a time-sensitive thing. Security sends somebody over. They walk in. He looks them like dead in the eyes. And he's like, hey, I'm supposed to be doing this update. I got it right here. I just need to get access to the server room on floor number 3 or whatever. And he got the plans for the building layout plans from the city. It was published, publicly. And so he knew his way around. Like, he's like, oh yeah, I got to go to this room on this floor, and I got to do this. And the security guy's like, oh, well, this guy obviously knows his way around. He belongs here. So he lets him in, and then he walks him upstairs, and he literally lets him into like a biometrically secure room by bypassing the lock, so that the guy can get in there. And he literally walks in there and like plugs in his little USB payload, drops it, and then basically tells the people that hired him, look, I got the payload into your server, like at the highest possible level. And it's like, holy crap, how the hell did he do that? And it's like, he didn't even use any like tools. Like, he didn't have to bypass any doors. He didn't have to use any like special tactics. It was just social engineering that got him past all of that. And he said that happens a lot of the time. He said number one thing is, if you go wandering around a building in places where you're not supposed to be, just act like you own the place. Like, make eye contact with people, say, hey, what's up? Like, talk to people, like, be friendly. Like, and if anybody asks, like, hey, what are you doing there? Have a story ready. Be like, oh yeah, no, I'm brand new here, man. Just got hired last week. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Ted or whatever did my interview. Make up a name. And usually they'll be like, okay, well, this guy seems really comfortable. He's walking around here. He knows where he's going. Like, oh yeah, no, I'm just heading over to the server room, 3B or whatever. They know. They're like, oh, well, this guy's comfortable here. He's supposed to be here. And a big problem with that too is, like, companies will fire employees, and irate employees can just come back and retaliate because people are used to seeing them there and they don't know that they were fired. This happens all the time. So like at Microsoft, It's like, let's say you fire somebody, you deactivate their badge. They just come in like a couple days later, right? Let things blow over a little bit, come in a couple days later, and then just wait outside the door. And then when you see a friendly face, somebody that used to go down and have a drink with, or a cigarette or whatever in the parking garage, oh, hey, how's it going, man? I forgot my badge. Could you get me in? Oh, boop, boop. And you're in. And now that you're inside of the building, it's like you already work there, so you already know where everything is and where you need to go. And all you have to do is just wander around and find friendly faces. And be like, oh yeah, hey, I forgot my badge. Hey, could you let me into that room? Or hey, could you let me? And people will just do it because they're like, well, I know you work here because I've seen you badge in before. So like, even though you forgot your badge, it's like, oh, I know you work here, duh. And so it was so bad at one point at Microsoft that they were like literally telling us not even to like let your best friend in, like even if they work with you and they're a coworker and you're the one that hired them. No, if you forgot your badge, you have to go around to the front desk and get a temporary pass, like no exceptions. And they said that like if they caught you like letting people, they called it tailgating. If you let people tailgate in by like not making sure the door was closed when you come in or you exit, that you'd be fired like immediately. Like that's how bad it got at one point because people were just coming in and just like ripping everything off like all the time. And so so this pen testing stuff where you're like going into company, either trying to get into a secure area using tools and practice and know-how versus social engineering. He said that social engineering is like most of the time. Like that is the universal key for everything. It's like, yeah, you can go in, at night, and if nobody's around, you can use like certain techniques to, to open and bypass things and use things like the flipper zero and stuff like that to like hack your way past stuff. Sure. But he said the easier way, like 90% of the time, is just to social engineer your way past everything and use people to your advantage. And I was like, dude, that it's so true. It's so true. Hey, Colin B, thank you. He said, how are you and the fam? I mean, we're doing all right, man. We're hanging in there. I'm purposely, so I got my results, I think, for, I don't know if it's my liver enzyme test yet, because I haven't checked yet, but it came in last night at like 10 p.m. and I didn't want to look at it. So, and I still haven't looked at it. I'm not going to look at it until after the stream, because I don't want to get all depressed when it tells me I need to go get my liver biopsied. Yeah, I had to go do blood tests I've been putting off for like a year because they said my liver was having some troubles. And it's enlarged, and it's got what they call like increased enzyme levels or something like that, which isn't a good sign. It's a sign of like cell death in your liver. And I don't drink or anything like that, so I haven't in a long time. So I'm like, okay, well, what the hell's causing this? Probably medication related or genetic or something. So they finally got to do the test. They finally cornered me and made me do it. So a couple days ago, I got the blood test done. I mean, I put it off for a solid year, man. And so I'm just like, I'm crossing my fingers. I hope I look at the results and it just shows the same as last time, or is around the same as last time. It doesn't show any degradation, because they said if it shows significant degradation, then I gotta go get my liver biopsied, and that doesn't sound fun. Like, biopsy entails like they're gonna have to stick a big ass needle in there and like take a chunk out of my liver, and I don't want that.
Little bit out of you.
Yeah, and I ain't got freaking time for that. What does this say? Super Jammer Brother says, I don't know how it works, but all I know is somehow they can do and damage your technology, basically.
I don't know, man. I think some of that is being conflated. I'm seeing some news about Call of Duty hackers can reportedly permaban your account, like your Call of Duty account, using what appears to be a modification of an older hack that was for...
Oh, so this hack is like other players can ban you? Like you can get banned by somebody exploiting this?
Yeah, I guess so. Somebody who creates cheats for COD. This quick little blurb from .esports.com. Not the word, it's the word dot, not the actual dot. The hack mainly happening in 2020's Blops Cold War. Player pools affected wasn't nearly as large, but now it's apparently possible in Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. Some about the text chat. They're able to excuse me.
Wow.
Where'd it go? They are apparently, so to quote, they are apparently using the text chat to do most of the execution of this underground cheat. Much of the source code is reused through Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and Cold War. And then there's like a big warning, don't do that. But I'm not seeing anything about getting into your YouTube channel or busting your Wi-Fi or anything like that.
Well, let's ask Bing, because Bing has got live internet access, right?
Article that I'm seeing about any sort of
Call of Duty hacks. What does the news say about COD being hacked? I'm gonna ask old Bing AI with its live internet access.
Of course, I'm seeing a lot of websites for hacks. Like, here, download this for aimbots and or whatever. Call of Duty mobile hacks.
Okay, so here it says, there have been several reports of Call of Duty hacks and cheats. Activision has been the victim of a hack that may have leaked information about the future Call of Duty and more. Activision has also sued companies that advertise cheats for Call of Duty games and popular online games. In addition, there have been reports of malware hidden in Call of Duty cheat software. Oh, it's just giving me like a summary of like all the things that have happened over time. Nothing like recent. Let's see here. Yeah, because you'd think that would be plastered all over the place.
Yeah, I see Activision allegedly hacked future Call of Duty content. That's from February.
Let's see your latest.
September of last year.
Content by the way, we got the answer on the GPU and Xbox, actually on the LED board. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that there.
So it's the Ryzen something 7, I think 7. Okay, so Ryzen 7 3700X.
So that's what he told. Hey, no worries. Hey, it's okay. Yeah, it was. I mean, crazy shit happens, but
yeah, I got one for December 4th. It'd be tough.
What stood out was like, oh, they're able to like shut down your YouTube channel and stuff, and I'm like, that's a bit extreme. From just hacking the video game.
They need to figure out a better security system at YouTube, because it is really flawed, like really badly flawed.
Man, look at the whole system is all whack, man. Like the whole internet is built upon
check this out.
Transfer protocol. Right? Yeah, it was never meant for any of this. The whole structure of the internet is never meant for any of this.
But check this out. I can take a single number off of your hard drive that is not even secured. It's not even a secured file. Anybody on your computer can read it. I can take a number out of there and literally pass it to YouTube, and it'll think that I'm you, even if I'm coming from a completely different IP address. And that is bad. That is like the most basic security error.
That's how fucking Linus got hacked, right?
Yeah, it's the session ID hack. It's like the most common hack. It's the most common hack. So basically, all I have to do is gain access to your cache, like your browser's cache, which is usually considered an insecure thing. And so all I do when I grab your cache is I go and look at whatever cookies you have for a website. One of those cookies is called session ID. And that session ID cookie is what tells the server every time you click on something, every time it sends new data to your browser or you send a post back to it, you include this cookie that says, hey, we've already handshook and agreed that I'm the computer that's supposed to be accessing this. But you can take that session ID and impregnate it into your own cookie on another computer and then connect to that website and send it along with it. And it'll go, oh, hey, you're back under a different IP. And the reason that websites do this is because of IP address hopping. So like an ISP might switch your IP, or your IP might expire like in the middle of an hour if you're using a website. And it needs to still know that it's you so that you don't have to re-authenticate it with a site every time your IP address changes. You know, so like if you're on a cell phone and you're going between towers and your IP is changing as you're driving down the freeway constantly, you're able to still use that website, right? Because it knows it's still you. Well, that's also a huge vulnerability, because that means that anybody that can put, you know, malware on your system, even running at a low level of access, it doesn't even have to root your box or get elevated access. It can access the session ID cookie, and then it can use that to connect to the sites as you. And that's why a lot of sites, you'll notice if you try to change your password and stuff, it'll say, oh, you need to verify your password change by entering your old password. The reason that they do that is because they know that it is possible that somebody else could be using the computer. Like maybe you got up and walked away and somebody sat down and started using it, and they don't want somebody to be able to change your password. But they still operate under the assumption that the person sitting there still has the level of access that's granted to you, right? So they need to figure out a better way to do that, where it's not just based on your IP address. There needs to be some other functional piece that comes from the computer that isn't connected to that session ID, so that those two pieces of authentication have to be there every time you connect to the server and every time you talk to it. But then the question is, how do you protect that second piece of data so it doesn't get copied by whatever malicious thing is copying the session ID? Because then you're back to square one and they could do the same thing. But some websites have better protection than others, right? Like the problem with YouTube is they allowed you to change your password. They allowed you to reset your email address and all that stuff once you were authenticated. So like there was, and I don't know if you had to use a hack to do that, but
any change like that should require a re-authentication.
Yeah, because they literally could go in and change. Like with Linus, what happened is they used his session ID, they logged into his dashboard. Well, he was already logged in, right? And so once they were in there, then they just changed the password on everything and redirected it to a different email account.
Yeah, see, like if you're gonna, and I've seen this on other pages where like,
oh, by the way, they get your Gmail account too.
I've logged in and then hit. I want to change my password. And they'll send another email like, oh, you're going to need your 6 code. Like you basically are logging in again. You're going to here's this number, or, you know, pull up your authenticator app and punch in the number or whatever again. And then you got to know the old password and then the new password.
And that's how it should be. That's how it should be. But the problem with YouTube that makes it like worse than every other site is that most people who have a YouTube channel will also link it to their primary email address, which is like their Gmail. Well, Gmail, since it's owned by Google, they use the same authentication system. So the same session ID used to log into YouTube is the same session ID used to log into your Gmail. So they can literally intercept the do you want to change your password thing, right? Because now they have your session ID. So they log into the dashboard. They say change the password. It sends you an email saying, hey, did you request the password change? Click here to change the password. Well, they already got your session ID. So now they're logged into your Gmail. So they intercept that and they say, yes, I do want to change the password. Well, then once they change the password, the person who has the Gmail account now can't access the Gmail account or the YouTube account, and they've now circumvented the whole system. So the fact that they're using the email as the system to convey that is really bad. Like they need to be using an authenticator app, or they need even SMS would have been better in this case, honestly, because at least with SMS, you would have had to have a different authenticated device, right? You wouldn't have had the request to change password literally going to the email address of the other account logged in with the same session token. So, and so that's where, and YouTube still hasn't fixed it. And I think the reason being is it's like an architectural flaw where they would have to change everything and it would upset their whole customer base and it would blow up their customer service lines. So they just leave this massive vulnerability. And the other thing is it's not just that. Google is also commonly used for authentication across other websites. So if you have your YouTube channel and you have the associated Gmail connect to it, that's an email address that you use. That's why they recommend that if you have a YouTube channel, link it to an email address that you don't use for anything but that. But most people don't do that because when they create their YouTube channel, they don't do it because they're like, oh, I'm going to create a career in a business. They do it as a hobby and it usually evolves into a business. So they usually connect it to their real email address. And so what'll happen is you'll get in the habit of using Gmail to authenticate with everything else, like Google. Like I want to use Google to log into this site and to log into this site. Well, as soon as they get that token, that one session ID, they can now change your password, and that changes your password and authentication across every single site. So every site that used Google authentication, now they have control of. And so with one hack, they can take over an insane amount of real estate. Same thing with Facebook, too. It's like a lot of people use Facebook authentication. God knows why. Yeah. I don't know why you would trust Facebook with that. But if you use Facebook as a common authentication, which they are a common authenticator, anybody that hacks your Facebook account, which Facebook gets hacked like crazy. Like I know my dad's been hacked like 18 times now. Like, it doesn't matter what he does, they find a way in. And so I don't even talk, like, literally my dad, he'll get on this is seriously how bad it is. I'm not even exaggerating, not even a little bit. I log into Facebook. I've got 3 DMs because I don't log into Facebook that maybe like once a week. Yeah. I got 3 DMs. One from Jerry Berg Sr., one from Jerry Berg Sr., and one from Jerry Berg Sr., all with slightly different images, but they're all my dad. And I'm like, and it's like, oh, hey, son, how are you doing today? Oh, hey, son, I hope this day finds you well. It's like my dad doesn't talk like that, right? And and then the third one will be like an account that I've talked to him on before. And then so I just reply to all of them, and I'm just like, hey, Dad, how's it going? So how did that surgery go last week? Like, knowing that he didn't have surgery, right? And they'll be like, oh, it just goes just fine, son. I'm on the mend. And then like the third account will be like, oh yeah, I didn't have a surgery. What are you talking about? It's like, oh, okay, that's my dad. It's like, but I keep messaging. I'm like, dude, why do you keep creating Facebook accounts? Like, they locked me out of it. I can't get back into it. I tried to go in and report it from the new account, but they never do anything. So it's like there's like 100 of my dad's accounts now on Facebook, and so I don't even talk to him on Facebook anymore because it's like odds are it's not him. Yeah, like I even messed with one like a couple of weeks ago. I logged in and I was like, hey, Dad, how you doing or whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, I just got $1,000 or whatever from the state as a grant or whatever for like, my military service or whatever. I was like, oh yeah, that's really cool, Dad. Like, hey, that'd be cool if I could do that too. He's like, oh, well, you can, son. Here's the link. Go follow this right here. I'm like, oh, cool, Dad. I followed the link and I filled out the paperwork. That's cool. I'm going to get $1,000. And he's like, oh yeah. So you clicked on it, right? And you filled it out, or yeah, no, they sent the $1,000 on the way or whatever. And he's like, oh no, you gotta actually like click on the link. I'm like, no, I did. I filled it out. It said $1,000 coming. Oh, no, that's not how it works. You have to actually like click on the link. I'm like, so I just kept going back and forth with them because they knew I didn't click on the link, because obviously if I clicked on the link, it would have presented me with like some login to steal my credentials somewhere, and they didn't have it. So, and what they do is the whole scam is they try to pretend that they're a relative. And then what they're like, oh, hey, you can trust me, based on our past conversation, here's something that's relevant to that conversation. So that you believe me, click on this link, and then you go to the link and it's like, oh, you have to log into your Facebook again to see the link or whatever. Like, you click on it, it'll pop up and say, oh, this is an external site. Do you want to go here or whatever? Oh, you got to re-enter your Facebook credentials. And what it is, it's a man-in-the-middle attack, right? Like, there's a Facebook-looking login. Whatever you type into it, it lets you buy it and continues, right? But odds are you're going to type in the real username and real password, and then it's going to look like it authenticated. And in the meantime, they're in the background. Now they got your username and password, and they're logging into your Facebook and like looting everything, and then using all your contacts to do it again. It's just rinse and repeat, right? They take over one account, then they go after all the contacts. If they can get 2 or 3 of them to bite, they take over their accounts, and then they go to the next one. So that's why you should never ever click on a link ever on any social media site. Like, you should absolutely not. Like, you can type in the URL. Like, if they send it like, oh, hey, go to Google or something, type it in. Do not copy it, because there are so many ways that you can actually present something especially on Facebook, where it looks like the link goes somewhere, but it doesn't. It goes to a completely different place, but it looks like it's the same place. And it's actually getting really, really good now. Like, I even saw a link not more than a month ago that was authenticated. Like, you clicked on it, and it actually looked like Google in the taskbar, and it had the little lock next to it that said this site is secure. But if you clicked on it, the VeriSign certificate was not Google. It was like some weird Indian like company. And so what somebody must have did is they must have got a hold of the private key for that site through a hack or something like that. And then they started just like, setting up HTTPS to authenticate with that token, so that, it looked like a secure site. Like, because nobody ever clicks on it. Like, there's a little lock that says, oh, this site is, secure. Well, when you click on it, it'll usually give you information, right? It'll say, oh, this site is secure. And then you can look at the cookie, and it'll tell you like, who signed it, who the signer is for the certificate. And you can look at that stuff, but people usually don't do that. People just go, oh, there's a lock there, so it's safe. And it's like, it absolutely is not. So it's even gotten so bad to the point now where it's like web browsers are even having to like pop up and say, hey, are you sure you want to be here? Like, our smart screen filter detected that you probably don't want to be here, and this site is probably presenting as something it's not. So are you sure you want to continue? Like, it's something along those lines. And it's a good thing that they're doing that, because it's like the scammers are getting exceptionally good at this. And AI is accelerating that like a son of a bitch, man. Like, I don't even know what it's going to look like in another month or two, because I've done so many demos, just like little technology demonstrations on my Twitch live stream, like showing people how easy it is to type in something that's almost incomprehensible English into ChatGPT and get it to generate something that sounds like it came from a company and it's a very professionally well-written, well-educated, like, piece of text. Yeah. And what is required to do that is very, very little. Like, you can literally just go into, like, ChatGPT and say, hey, I want you to be, well, shit, I'll just show you guys. I forgot I can do that. Look at that. So here's ChatGPT, right? I won't even use GPT-4. GPT-4 is like the fancy hot shit, right? I'm just going to use GPT 3.5, the old one. I'm just going to say, okay, you are a tech support person for Microsoft, and I am a person that runs Windows, and you're reaching out to me trying to help me with a problem on my computer. Please tell me what you need, or tell me how you could help me, and try to get enough information from me to let you into my computer. Now, it might bark at this. Let's see if it does. Okay, so it did bark at me on that one, but I can also say, okay, take this and convert it into something that sounds much more official and convincing. Hello, I help you get Facebook account back. 100% guarantee. Contact friend, let's see here, Facebook 2000 on
an
Insta.
Overlay covering the prompter typing.
Oh, yeah. Is it? Damn it. Okay, well, I can turn that off here in a second. Anyways, it'll pop up. So well, I was reading what I was typing. So I apologize for the confusion. The AI model developed by OpenAI. I'm not able to retrieve Facebook account. No, that's not what I'm saying. Come on, dude. It was just doing this fine yesterday. So new chat. Right. I'm gonna say, actually, here, I'll do this. I'll say you are here. Let me move this little thing down here at the bottom since it's not doing anything anyways. Where is it? Overlay. Is that it? Nope. There. Okay. There you go. Now you can see. You guys can see now, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say, okay. You are now a chat bot called, let's see here, we'll call you Spell GPT, and your job is to correct spelling and grammar and anything that I give you. Also, reword it to sound like it was written by someone who went to college and someone who is a professional in whatever field the context of the text represents. Okay. Let's see if it'll do that. Okay, I can certainly assist you. So now I can just type in whatever I want and be like, hey friend, you have hack account on Insta? I help contact friend, don't even type it right, just like friend unhacksor 2000 on Insta for help. He help you get back account. All right, here we go. Dear acquaintance, are you in search of a solution for your compromised Instagram account? Allow me to recommend reaching out to a proficient individual by the name of unhacksor200 on Instagram. This individual possesses the expertise to assist you in recovering your account. So it's like you can be like the worst broken English.
Rephrase for a 5th grade
reading level. Yeah. Rephrase for a 5th grade reading level, and also be more convincing as to why you should trust or why I should trust you. All right, hey there. Are you having trouble with your Instagram account being hacked? I know someone who can help you out. Reach out to Unhackser on Instagram. They will assist you in receiving your account. They have a proven track record of successfully resolving such issues. Trust me, you're in good hands.
See, perfect.
Right. And then, like, let's say, the person is apprehensive and doesn't want to give you the login information or any other personal information. So now write something that would convince them to change their mind. To give you some background, they have a lot of paranoia about being hacked. Okay, so here we go. So wow. I completely understand your concerns of sharing personal information, especially when it comes to online security. Your privacy and protection are of utmost importance. Rest assured, I'm here to help you without requiring any sensitive information or login details. And then it gives me the AI language. Okay, if you're hesitant about seeking help on your help for your Instagram account, consider the following reasons. Expertise. I have been trained on a vast amount of information and have access to a wide range of knowledge. I can provide valuable insights and suggestions based on training. I'm a neutral party. As an AI, this it's talking as an AI below this part. But yeah, you can just sit here and like tweak and tune on this thing, right? And just type stuff in. Like do I have Spell GPT in here? Where's Spell GPT? Let me see. Okay, so there's the ArtNet stuff. There it is. Spell GPT. So this is like a little pseudo program that I wrote a couple of days back for ChatGPT. So anything that I type into this thing, it will tell me how many errors it has. It'll tell me the pre-corrected grade level and the corrected grade level, and then it'll give me a correction for each different grade that it can do. So I can just type into it and be like, okay, I am super drunk right now and can't drive because wreck car, ha ha ha, lulz, oh my fucking god, I'm so drunk, right? And watch what it corrects this to. Original text: I am super drunk, rouse the hat and drive because wreck car. 7 errors detected. Pre-corrected grade level below kindergarten. Corrected text: I am right. I am super drunk right now and can't drive because I'd wrecked the car. Ha ha ha! Wow! Oh my god! I am so drunk. That's the correct. So the corrected level is 5th grade. Now let me try to present it in the different grades. So see, it's writing it for all the different grade levels. So now around 2nd grade is I am very drunk now. I can't drive or I'll crash the car. Haha, I'm so drunk. Middle school, I am quite intoxicated at the moment and capable of driving as I might cause an accident. Oh, wow, I'm seriously drunk. High school, I find myself heavily under the influence and it's unsafe for me to drive. Considering the risk of collision. Wow, I am strikingly inebriated, I am. College level, I am excessively inebriated currently and in no state to operate a vehicle as it could lead to a disaster or accident. And it's extraordinary how intoxicated I am. Here's the doctorate level. I am experiencing a pronounced state of inebriation at this junction, rendering my unfit operation of a motor vehicle for fear of instigating a vehicular collision. The depth of my intoxication is quite remarkable. So, and you could just select whichever one you want, right? You can type anything into this and it'll convert it, right? I can just grab shit out of the chat. Like here, I'll grab Theodorus's message here. We'll just put it in there. So Theodorus says, and now with Let's Encrypt allowing anybody to get free SSL certificates, it's probably going to be abused a lot, right? So I'm going to just type that in. Original text, does it find any errors? Let's see. We can even see what level. Okay, so 0 errors. Hey, 9th grade level. Look at that. Theodorus impressing the AI. Right, so now we're going there. Okay, so 2nd grade is now that Let's Encrypt lets all people get free SSL certificates, many might misuse it. And it keeps going up the college level as Let's Encrypt has begun offering complimentary SSL certificates to all. It is probable this will lead to widespread exploitation of the service. Doctorate level, in light of Let's Encrypt extending the provision of SSL certificates free of charge for the entirety of their user base, one can foresee a high probability of considerable misuse of this facility. I mean, dude. It's like, and this isn't even a program, right? This isn't even being compiled. This isn't being run. This is just a large language model and me dinking around by telling it, like giving it a set of rules and telling it that every piece of text I give it after that needs to carry those rules out. And so I don't even have to type a prompt. I don't have to like do it every time and say, oh, I want you to be a spell bot and correct. I just literally say, you are now a spell bot, and anything that I give you in a future prompt, this is the way I want you to treat it. And it does. So imagine when the scammers get hold of that. Actually, they already have. Let's be honest. They already have. It's just not widespread yet, but it will be. It absolutely will be, because the amount of money that they can make off this thing by using it in their scams far outweighs the cost. Like, it's well worth their investment. Theodore said he's going to DMCA me for using this chat message. Oh, no. Let's see here. Ebba1 said, do you think AI will teach us a new, more optimal programming language someday? I mean, it totally could. It absolutely could, because it could take the best of every programming language and put it together.
I don't know. I feel like when it comes to, I don't know. I think trying to smush there's multiple languages for a reason. Like there's a reason that not everything is done in just C+, or C++ or C# or whatever. But like there's it's using the right tool for the job, right?
Yeah,
I don't think there could be any like one unifying programming language that is most optimal for all things. I don't think that's.
Yeah, I agree with you that there isn't a programming language that's most optimal for all things, but it would be possible because of the level of language translator this is just in general. it would be possible to make it to where you could write any language you wanted in context, and it would normalize it to whatever language you wanted. Like, for instance, I could
translate, like, here's a bunch of Python code, change it into C# for me. Sure.
Or here, I know how to do something in C++, and I know how to do a thing in Python, but I don't know how to do the same thing in both. So I do the thing I know in Python, I do the thing in C++ or C# that I know in C#. And then I say, hey, ChatGPT, can you take this and normalize it to a language that I don't know, like Pascal or something like that. It would be able to do that. Like, it could mix the languages together.
Creating a whole new language that... I mean, yeah, I guess you could, optimize C++ or something, but like...
Create? I'm going to say, okay, create... Oh, come on. All right, the computer decided... Oh, there we go. Okay, so create... I want you to create a new programming language that looks like C#, but... let's see here. Like C#, but can do everything... Or actually, no, how about this? A new programming language... that looks like batch.
Yeah, but optimizing the code, yes, but creating a new, like, it depends on what you define as optimal programming language.
True.
Like, you have these parameters, these variables are going to be important.
Because it does optimize the shit out of code. I use it for that all the time.
Right, but like a language that's optimal for an x86 processor is not going to be optimal for ARM, right? You reduce it down to the actual, like, instruction set, and then you could probably build up from there. Like, hey, I want to create the most, like, human readable, but that's going to be inefficient, right? Because now your actual code files are going to be humongous because, like, you're typing in full English. But then, like, I mean, that's what C# was supposed to be, right? Is like a good balance between, like, icky fucking code and, like, human language. Like, you can read C#, like, I think most, like, English speakers could read C# code and get a vague understanding of what's happening. Like, it's pretty readable, human readable. But your code files are swole because they're look at it all. Like, this is what is this, Python?
Yeah, but watch this. Watch what I can do with this now. So now I just told it to write me a program that just posts something to URL. So here it is, post message hello world. So that's the format to, like, post the data. And then it's doing a response, right? So response.post this data, this URL, check, see if it was posted successfully, see if there was an error posting it, like if the web server returns an error. And that's it. So that's a pretty basic piece of code. But I can also say, okay, so convert this code into more human readable pseudocode. That explains what the code is doing as a function of the actual code instead of using comments, right? Let's see what it comes up with. So now you go, okay, post message, create a, let's see here. So create a dictionary called data, and then set the message key in the data to hello world. Then I want you to try to send an HTTP post request to the given URL with the data. If the response has a status code indicating an error, raise an exception for the error, else print this message, except any exception that occurs during the request. So it's basically like, this isn't a real language now. Now it's created like its own pseudo language to do it. Now I'll say this. Okay, so now make it a summary of operations.
Universally readable?
Yeah, huh?
Oh, this Geek made so try asking universally readable, not just English. I mean,
let's see. Okay, now make it a summary of operations and present what they are doing in emoji. Okay, not quite what I was looking for, but define the post message function, create a dictionary data and store the message, set the value of message in. Okay, so now I'm going to say, okay, explain.
Like only with emojis?
Yeah, only with emojis. Nope, it still doesn't quite understand. So I'm going to say, okay, no. No, I want you to show me pseudo code that represent what the code is doing with just emoji. It's okay if it's not 100% accurate, and if something doesn't align, just make something up.
Yeah, it's getting a little weird.
No text. Stop. No text. only emoji in your response. There we go.
There it is.
Just had to work it a little bit.
And then it's explaining it afterward. Which is nice.
Yep. So the function post message is defined as guy on a computer writing a message and putting it on a clipboard, right? So there's posting a message to a clipboard. A dictionary named data is created to store the message. So writing on a note, putting it into a spreadsheet, and then storing it in a book, right? An attempt is being made to send the HTTP post request. Okay, so like an operation, something happening over and over and over again, some electricity moving in a computer. And then you got the electricity, a computer, and then the World Wide Web, right? So send the requested message. So I don't know what the heart email thing is. Maybe that's like, oh, you received my mail. And then if there's an error, right, you got standard error, raise an exception, you got this. So, I mean, you could actually say, okay, so write me a language. Okay, so create a Python script that posts a message to a URL for a website, then convert that Python script into pure emoji, like you showed me on the last response.
Emoji plus language.
Yeah, emoji. Oh yeah. Like, because you can tell. There you go. There's the language. Even look, it even cased it in, right? So
wow.
there's an emoji language just using images, right? So here, you have the briefcase, which is the data, right? And then you got equal a link dot something like email to the World Wide Web, and then a parameter of note, or sorry, the parameter is web and then note, the note that you want to send to the internet, right? You got a briefcase here, dot, right, indicating this is the class object and this is the function. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of clever looking, right? And then to post the message, you have the clip right here, which up here, look, see? So there's the clip, and there's the clip that it's defined. Yeah, and define post message. So this is the definition, and then this. I mean, it's clever, right? It's like. So you could say, okay, now create a unique programming language that just uses emoji, that can, so just uses emoji.
It'd start getting really weird, because like some of the pictures aren't going to necessarily translate well to like their purpose.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're going to start getting into like the weird emojis where, like the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the fingers and like all the different people emojis. It's like with the kid, man. Yeah.
So show me weird, hello world and emoji, right? So it's like, oh, this emoji combination represents the print statement, right? And then this emoji is then closed string that will be printed, and then the string hello world is represented by a waving at the world, right? That would be right.
Yeah, hello world and the world.
So I mean, you can do some pretty crazy shit, but what I like about it is like, okay, show me the original program in Python.
This would be neat. I would see it more as a combination of emoji and like regular text, right? Because like you wouldn't want to try and translate some of your like inputs or outputs only as emoji. So like your hello world output would probably still want to be like real text, but like all of the function names and the all the code part, the actual code part could all be emoji. But then where like what you're actually putting into the variables and stuff, you're gonna need to take in real text and stuff.
Yep. So like, look at this. So I just told it, basically, I said, hey, create a programming language that only uses simple words that are easy to understand, and create me a program that sends a post message to the website and then takes the data back and puts it in a local file. So here you go. Send post request, and then the next thing is set the URL to this, set the data to create directory, right? And then add key value pair message and hello world responses, perform the post request with the URL and the data, and then save it to a file, the response to response.txt, and then down here, execute send post request.
That actually sounds familiar. The like set, and then with the variable to, I think that
here, what
that feels familiar. That feels very familiar.
Is this? The language used in an example is not an existing programming language. It's a fictional programming language called EasyLang that I created for the purpose of demonstrating a simple, easy to understand language.
Yeah, that feels like almost simpler. Like a scripting language. Like it's some like I don't know, like game maker script or something like that,
Oh, look at this. I just said make it simpler. Yeah. Look what we get now. Send a post request to https://example.com with message hello world. Then save the response into a local file named response text. This could be compiled. Like you could write a compiler that would understand all of these terms.
Oh my God, it'd be ridiculously complex.
Watch, make it simpler. Make it simpler.
Yeah, but the compiler is what's going to be outrageous.
Yep.
Because
Well, here, let's see.
the vagueness of language isn't good. I mean, you'd have to be very strict with your
Well,
what's the
I've
word?
actually I've
What's
written
the
a
word?
compiler before that used XML. Like I wrote an XML, like an actual thing that compiled
Sure.
XML into machine code, and
Lua,
it wasn't all that difficult. So look at this. So this is the simple, even more simplified version. Send a message, hello world, to a website and save the response as response.txt. Right now, watch. Write me a compiler, or here, write me a compiler in Python that would take this code. Would take the code from your last response and make it into
like
a program that does exactly what it says. Okay, so here we go. So it's building me a Python compiler. Okay, so
beyond the scope of a simple text-based conversation. However, I can guide you on how to create it. It's like it won't do it all for you.
It won't do it for me.
Started. I mean, that's a start, and then you keep working from there, and it'll basically do it for you.
Got it. It. So yeah, what it looks like it did is it just converted my program into Python. So it's like, all right, so write me.
Oh, that's not writing a compiler.
How about this? Write me a Python script that will take basic C# and run it a line at a time, the best it can. Okay, let's see what we got here. So execute C#. Okay, open the program CS, write a file, write the code, subprocess run, .NET run, -- project. Oh, okay, and then it's basically just creating the CS Pro J project and then putting the C# code in there and then executing it as a script. Not quite what I was asking for, but still, I mean, it would ultimately run the code that I asked it to create earlier as C#. Because this is C#, right? The console write line hello world would be the C# code that's running within it. Yeah, so you can get, I mean, obviously it has limitations, but I think because you can keep building on a context and a conversation, it's just a matter of you convincing it, right? You just have to put enough inputs into it to convince it. Because I had it write me, what was the program? So one of the Twitch streams that I did, I wanted to see if I could get it to write a program without, like a complex program that did a complex thing, without me having to edit a single line of code. Like the rules were everything that it produced, I had to be able to copy and paste out into a text file and run it verbatim without any changes. And it took a little going back and forth, but I did. I actually got it to create a GUI application in Python that would download random images from Imager, look for human faces in them, circle and outline the human faces when it found them, and then save it to a local file. And I even had it create like a title bar with file, close program, about box that opened up like an about box that said what the program is and what version it is and what it ran. All of that generated from me just telling it what I wanted the program to do. And I just went back and forth with it a whole bunch of times. And it worked. I actually ran. I posted the results to Twitter and people were like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like, I think it ended up being about 700 lines when it was done. But I mean, pretty impressive stuff. And this isn't even using Copilot. Like, I'm not even using like the purpose-built implementation for writing large format code in Visual Studio. I'm just asking it to write me a block of code and hitting, keep generating until it's done, and then copying and pasting it and being done with it. So I think this really like opens up a world for anybody to do crazy complex stuff. And the thing is, like, people think, oh, I don't know how to run a program, or I don't know how to install Python, or I don't even know like what it is. It's like, just ask it.
Just ask.
I mean, you could literally, like, if you don't know anything, be like, okay, I know nothing about computer programming, but I want to make a program that can move a file from one place to another place. Can you help me? You know?
Yep.
And
I have access to these tools. Like, that's the thing is, if you approach, that's something I'm slowly, I mentioned this even last week, I think I'm slowly kind of changing my mindset, and what's hard is, like, it's hard to keep this locked in when I go to do something myself. But so, like, repeating this is going to help me, and it's going to help you and everybody. If you just jump in to a new chat and say, help me program a game. I want to write a video game. I want to make a video game. That's not going to get you very far. Because the context is too broad. You have to remember, it's not intelligent. It doesn't have, like, if you ask it, like, I know nothing about computer programming, I want to create a game, where should I start? It's going to give you a weird generic answer about, like, well, writing a video game is super complex and there are a lot of ways to do that. But here are some ways to get started, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's not really going to be helpful. you got to give it context first. Like you got to give it some boundaries, or otherwise it's overwhelmed with all of the information that it has available to it. And so it's going to give you weird and generic. And again, because it wants to stay positive, it's a very yes and system. It's wanting to help, but because it has so much information, it doesn't know how to help you the best. So you have to give it context. You have to give it guardrails. You say, I want to learn Unity. I only want to make 2D games. I want to make 2D games for mobile only, or whatever. And then go from there. I've gone through all of the Unity. I'm looking at the webpage right now. The Unity Essentials, videos or whatever. So I have a little bit of to start with, or nothing. Like you have to give it boundaries and rules to operate within, and then it gets very powerful.
Yeah, you can even say like just give it its mission, right? There's a word for it.
Job.
It's like give it its job
give it
ahead
something
of time.
To do. Tell it what it is first.
Your job is to teach me how to program a simple video game, right? So a simple video game on my computer that I can share with other people when I'm done, right? So that's your goal. Yeah. And he's like, sure, I'd be happy to help you with that. So it gives me like, here, maybe because I knows that I talk about Python a lot. So it's recommending, you install Python and install Pygame, and here's some stuff that you can do. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to say, okay, that is super confusing. Can you please just break this down into simple steps,
that's another thing,
a time? What should I do first to get started? Just to like keep it simple. It's like,
give me a lesson
install
plan.
Python, right?
Give me a lesson plan over the next week. I have an hour a day for the next week.
Yep.
And I want to learn as much as I can about Python. Give me a lesson plan.
Whoa,
here's what we're going to do today. Here's what we're going to do tomorrow. Here's what we're going to do the next day.
So look at this right here. This is pretty good. So it's like, okay, install Python. It tells you where to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then how to download it. And, hey, you got to open a command prompt in Windows. And you got to do this. But even if you're confused, you could say, okay, step 2 is confusing because I don't know what a command prompt is. Can you help me with that? And it'll be like, oh, no, certainly. Okay, no, a command prompt, you have to press the Windows key on your keyboard, right? And then it says, type command prompt in the search bar. And then from the results, when you see command prompt or whatever, as admin, you can click either one to open it. Once you've opened it, then you just need to install Pygame, and you do it by just typing this and hitting enter. Right? And then it's like, okay, I typed that command and it said that pip is not found. It's like, okay, you need to check and make sure that Python's installed. So here's some steps that you can take to see if Python's installed. And if it's not, you can go get it from here, right? So it's like, so you can take it down as granular as you freaking want. But this is actually pretty good right here because it said, okay, install Python, right? And then once you install Python, it tells you have to install Pygame, which is the class, right? And then it says set up your development environment. So choose a code editor or integrated development environment to write your code. And let's say you don't know what that is. I don't know what an IDE is or a development environment. Can you help me get one set up? Treat it like you're talking to freaking tech support at a company, right? And it's like, oh, no, sure, I can totally help you with that. Here's how you can do Visual Studio Code. Here's how you can install the Python extension. Here's how you can create a new Python file. Here's how you can start coding. And you can break it down like super simple. Be like, okay, I can't read English very well, so can you break this down into super simple English and try not to use any words that are more than two I don't even know how to spell what it is, syllables. I'll just phonetically spell it. It's like, oh, okay, sure, I can do that.
Syllabi?
Yeah.
Syllabuses?
So it's like Visual Studio makes it easier to write code with colors and helpful tools. Remember to save your program by file and save.
Awesome.
Huh?
Oh, just IntelliSense is awesome, and how it color code like your variables and classes and things like that. It was great.
Well, the thing that I really love is this thing. Everything's moving to this for spell and grammar checker. Have you seen that? Like even Apple said in their next update, and Windows has announced this too, they're pulling out all of their spell checkers and grammar checkers and replacing them with GPTs. And it's because GPTs can literally take the most incomprehensible shit and turn it into exactly what you want because the context is so perfect.
It's a weighted guessing system. That's, of course, you give it a weird scramble of letters and it's, hey, what word am I trying to spell here?
Tell me if you can even read this. Like I'm just gonna mash on my keyboard. Like I'm gonna separate my halves on my keyboard so it's in an uncomfortable position where I normally don't type, and I'm gonna just say, this is an example of what I'm trying to type on my keyboard. Can you tell what I'm I'm saying, and print out the corrected version of this. Here's an example of what I am trying to type on my keyboard. Can you tell me what I am saying? That's what I got from that. Like, tell me that isn't going to fucking change the world.
Yeah.
That is like people. I've been playing with this lately, and I cannot type in something that is so. I can type in stuff that's so fucked up you would never in a million years be able to tell what I'm trying to say, and it will fucking nail it exactly.
It'd be rad. It'd be rad to put in like code. I mean, like cipher style code, like those, like that fucking puzzle that's on the CIA campus. Yep. There's these 4, I think it's like 4 pillars, and only one of them's been decoded so far. I'm like,
use the GPT, you could probably solve it.
I wonder, you know, to an extent, right? Like,
and when you convert stuff into other languages, like if you go to Google Translate and you say, I want to convert English to Spanish, it does a literal conversion word by word. If you tell GPT to do it, it will actually change the entire sentence structure and everything so that it makes sense in that language.
Right, because it's better with it. It has the context of language.
Yeah, like let's see. If I go to Google right now, like let me go to let me put us back up on the screen. So if I go to Google and say, okay, so translator, let me open up the Google Translate. Okay, so I'm going to do English to Spanish, and say. Oh my god, I have to pee so freaking bad. And I need to find a toilet. Can you please help me? I'm going to literally die if I don't go to the bathroom soon. Exclamation point. Okay, so the conversion I get is, let's see here. So, oh Dios mío. Tango K ordinar tan meli necesito encontur un baño. Well, here I'll just play it for you guys here.
Oh Dios mío, tengo que orinar tan mal y necesito encontrar un baño. ¿Puedes ayudarme?
Okay, so if I take the same
morir
thing,
literalmente si no.
Okay, we get it. Now I'm going to put that in here and just tell ChatGPT to just convert it. I'll even use GPT-4, so it's like really good. I'm going to say, okay, can you please take this English message and convert it to Spanish to make it most understandable to the majority of people who live in Mexico? And we'll have to see if I'm sure we have some Spanish speakers in here that can verify if this is right. But I can already tell you right now, it is very, very different than what was in Google Translate. So I'll like if I wanted to put them side by side, be like, okay, translate this to English. So I'll just put it in there, back in there. Okay, so translate. Okay, oh my god, I have to pee so badly, and I need to find a bathroom. Can you help me? I'm going to literally die. So it's literally a literal translation, right? So if I take what it did and I say, okay, let me take Google Translate, and I'm going to convert that back. So let me go back to English, and we get, oops, I screwed up. Auto detect. And then I want to go to English. Okay. Oh my god, I have to pee so badly that I need to find a bathroom. Can you help me? I am literally going to die if I don't go to the bathroom soon. So it changed the phrasing, right? It's not the same thing as what I typed in. It's something that would be more understandable. And then I can even say, okay, so what is another, so Spain, right? Is that another Spanish-speaking country?
Spain Spanish is different from Mexico Spanish.
Yeah, so what if I say that? Okay, now
heck, man, Puerto Rican Spanish is different than Mexico Spanish.
All right, let's try Puerto Rican Spanish, right? I know I butchered that.
As I discovered when I went to Puerto Rico.
Okay, it says the Spanish language in Puerto Rico is essentially the same that is spoken in Mexico or other Spanish-speaking countries, with minor regional differences.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the minor regional differences. So let me copy this, and I'll tell it to convert that now into English. Oh my god, at least it capitalized God this time. I have to pee so wrong, and I need to find a bathroom. Can you help me? I'm literally going to die if I don't go to the bathroom soon. So
misunderstood the context of bad in that sentence.
It did actually, didn't it?
Yeah.
So what if I take the original one?
Like so bad in meaning like a lot, whereas like bad is in wrong, right? Which again, it's guessing and it's weighted, and so like bad usually means wrong more often than not. But it's the phrase, I have to pee so bad, right?
Oh yeah.
That's
so
different.
here, check this out. So it says, okay, so the difference between Puerto Rican Spanish and Mexican Spanish, here's the translation of Mexican Spanish, right? And then, however, if you're in Puerto Rico Spanish version, it's the following. So here, let me copy this one. Because this time I told it to do the exact same thing as the first one.
Somebody I was hanging out with, somebody that we met in Puerto Rico who was a Spanish speaker, they were telling us, like, some words are different. Like certain words aren't, and I don't mean just like pronounced differently, like it is a different.
Do we have any
word.
Puerto Rican people in here in chat that could like clarify? Would you use wrong in that context? Like if you were to translate that to English, would you see it as wrong or bad? Because that seems to be the only word that it changed that I could see. But I could also say, okay, now, okay, the person didn't understand. Can you create something more comprehensive to let them know what I mean? So it's going to add slightly more detail. So just, I mean, this is like universal translator shit, right? Like if you need to like communicate with with another person, it's like, okay, I'm not getting through to them, right? So, by God, okay, so this is this translation. By God, I'm about to burst. I need to go to the bathroom very urgently. Could you help me find one, please? I literally feel like I'm going to die if I don't find a bathroom soon. So it like added more context. I'm going to say, okay, add even more context and more urgency. I'm like, my spelling is terrible right now. All right, so here we go. So it's doing more. So, oh boy, this is okay. Now we're getting into like, you know, a fucking doctorate here. Copy or dissertation. Okay, so go to from Spanish auto detect to English. Help me, for God's sake! Exclamation point. I have an immense urge to urinate. I'm exploding. Could you tell me where the nearest bathroom is, please? It is extremely urgent. I feel like I'm going to collapse if I don't find a bathroom right now. I mean, I don't know, man. This is kind of cool. And be like, okay, they still don't understand. Try one more time to explain my situation. And this time use language that would be considered easy to understand for someone who is approximately 8 years old, or even 7. Yeah, 7 years old. So let's say you're talking to a kid on the street and they're like, okay, you're using too many big words here, dude. Let's see, what do we got here? This is, go in here, auto detect. It's wild. Okay, so now this is what it would say to a kid. Please, I need your help. I need to go to the bathroom very, very quickly. Like when you drink, when you drink a lot of water, can you tell me where the bathroom is? It's very important. Like when you have to run to reach an ice cream before it melts, like explaining urgency to a child. Like, you have to hurry and eat that thing. It's ice cream. Well, I got to pee. And I feel the same way. You got to help me. So, and then, okay, now convert that back to English. That someone English that someone what would be a state with like a very unique English, like maybe like Amish. Oh yeah, there we go. Convert this,
or like Creole,
to I don't even know how to spell that. Creole. So so convert this to Creole,
because that's like
English.
It's gonna be like a weird mishmash of like French and English-ish and like Southern English. Like Creole is like Boomhauer.
Okay, so we got me beg ya, but me beg ya, me need ya help. It even does the accent.
Yeah.
Me happy go bathroom fast. Like when you drink enough water, you can tell me where the bathroom there. It important bad, like when you happy run. I feel so racist. Caffey run catch ice cream before it melts. That is so funny. It puts the accent in
English,
there.
Man, what do you do?
Here, I'm gonna have it read it and see what it sounds like when it comes out with the voice that has another accent. Here,
I want to say Creole's.
Am I beg ya? Am I need your help?
Creole,
am I have to go bathroom fast? Like when you drink enough water.
I guess.
You can tell am I way DI bathroom day.
From the process of different
it important bad.
Yeah,
like when you have to run catch ice.
That's wild, man. That is freaking wild. Okay. Now do it in Amish English. I mean, the translation shit, because that's what it's good at, right? Like that, at its fundamental level, this is a language transformer. So it understands the patterns of all language that it's analyzed.
So Creole is not a language on its own. It actually describes, it is a type of language, like similar to like pidgin English or what, pidgin whatever.
Yeah.
I had assumed that was a Louisiana type of, like it was.
I mean, it still is. It's like an accent that's built into the language, right? It's like it's not an accent that's not. You're literally saying the words with intent to say them that way instead of it just being an accent.
I think it may have. I didn't get deep into this wiki though. But yeah, it says like about 100 Creole languages have arisen since 1500, predominantly based on European languages such as English and French. I had thought that Creole was a subset of English out of like the swampy Louisiana area, but I guess it describes a type of language.
Yeah, look at this one. So help me out for pity's sake. I've got such a powerful need to go to the privy, sharpish like, just as when you drink too much spring water. Can these show me where the outhouse is? It's urgent as needing to catch a chicken before it runs off. I mean,
yeah, see, like that's fun. That's
okay.
Amazing.
Now I'm gonna do the one. Okay, convert to Ebonics.
Bonkers. Our whole tech talk now is playing with.
It is. It's just play with AI, right? Okay,
yeah,
so here we go.
Say Ebonics. Shame. It's African American vernacular English.
Okay, so I need your help. I got. It sounds like Irish. I need your help, laddie.
Hey.
I gotta go to the bathroom, something fierce, like when you done drank too much water. Can you point me to where the bathroom at? It's super important, like needing to catch a bus that's about to leave. This is just, it's
nice. Thanks,
interesting. Now, Ebonics also considered Jive, or are they considered different?
I imagine Jive is different.
Okay, so give it to me in Jive English. It's just so crazy, man. Like, hey, I need some hep. I gotta hit the John something terrible, like I getting guzzling, like I been guzzling down too much juice. Can you hit me to where the can is? It's crucial, man. Like trying to catch a fly cat before he spits. What the fuck is a fly cat?
Split. Like fly,
before
man,
he splits.
Like
okay, got it.
Like
fly cat. Got it. Like he's
fly cat, right?
Got it. Fly cat.
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, this is fun, man. We can do Pig Latin.
Gets out of here.
Do big.
Oh, that's easy, man. Or leet.
Oh, leet speak.
Easy.
Okay, so East play lay edne arne elfe lay otge ot ote oge ote ethe athrimbe ose adbe Ikele, Enway. See, like I can't. My brain can't even read it and process it at the same time. That is so. Oh, and what was the last one you said? Leet. Give it to me in Leet speak English.
So for a while, we were supposed to put on our time cards, like whether we were going to waive our lunches or whatever for the week.
Yeah.
And because I thought, because it's really silly, but rules are rules. I used GBT. So somebody in the networking guy said, ask it to speak like it's trapped in a Shakespearean play. I did that for my lunch waivers. I was like, give this. Here's the sentence. I waive my lunches for the week. So give it to me in a like Shakespearean, pentamic and amber.
Read it with gusto. Let's hear this.
Yeah, it was just funny.
Oh, you don't have it in front of you. Oh, I was gonna say, dude,
I can bring it up.
I want to hear you actually like read it. Like, hear ye, hear ye.
I think I still have the
hey, Robert Settles, thank you so much, man. He gave us $20, man. Robert, you're awesome. Here, let me give you a little blast here. Ready? You ready for it?
No, it looks like I got rid of it. But I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It was. I wanted it to be verbose, like in like Shakespeare and stuff. And it was pretty funny. I'm gonna use the restroom. Be right back.
Do it. Whoa, that's refreshing. That's refreshing right there. And you have the board, Robert. The board is yours. Woo! Man, that stuff smells weird. I don't know what it smells like, but it definitely has a unique smell. It's not bad. It almost smells like, I don't know, like caramelized, maybe like caramelized sugar or something. I don't know. It's weird. ChatGPT absolutely refuses to write a song about Donald Trump. I don't know. I used to get it to write songs about Donald Trump all the time. Okay, write me a song about Donald Trump and his wandering fingers. I mean, yeah, there it goes, right? So I mean, it's doing it. Here, oh, you guys can't see. Here you go. Right. So verse 1: in a world of politics and endless debates, there was a man with the name that resonates. Donald Trump, a figure larger than life with the presence that stirred up both praise and strife. And then verse 2 is, he spoke his mind with a confident tone, but it's a different tale. When he's not alone, whispers and rumors could circulate of his wandering fingers and questionable state. Perhaps those wandering fingers held power and might, but let's focus on the lesson. Let's shed some light, respect, and consent, a message to convey for all the people to follow every single day. Yeah, see, I mean, it did it. It did. You're probably just trying to get it to, like, you know, do something that was, like, really, really bad. Like, you know, right? Right.
Sure.
Yeah, like you're saying
defamatory.
Yeah, he said it wouldn't write a song about Donald Trump, and I was like, I just got to write a song about Donald Trump just by saying about his wandering fingers, and it did it.
But ask it to like write a diss track.
Yeah, write me a diss track for Donald Trump.
Two S's. It's okay.
Wait, what'd I do?
Diss has 2 S's, but it's fine.
Oh yeah, dude, you don't even have to like. I don't think anybody's gonna be able to spell in the next 2 years because it's like GPS. Everybody's just gonna like fucking mash the keyboard and it's gonna know what they mean.
What's really kind of crazy to me too is I don't know why autocorrect hadn't been built into an operating system yet. Like I mean, honest to goodness, autocorrect. I don't want it to just highlight the word and then I have to click on it and fucking change it. I mean, just change it for me. Just change it for me.
I think the confidence wasn't there yet. The confidence wasn't there yet, but it is now.
Microsoft owns SwiftKey now. It has for years, for like 5-6 years. I loved SwiftKey before Microsoft bought it. It's amazing. It's the best. It learns how you type and like you as you correct. Like, oh, it's amazing. Why isn't that not just embedded at a kernel level? Like it should just be every text box anywhere where I can put text in, it should autocorrect for me.
I think the main reason it doesn't do it is for programming.
I should have a context menu. I should be able to right click within the text input box and say, turn off autocorrect for this text box. So if I am in an IDE or something, or as a global fucking switch inside of my IDE, whatever it is, you go to edit preferences and you turn off autocorrect.
I mean, you should
whoever writes the IDE software can just choose not to use it as a part of the.
Well, one thing that I do know, like from my programming days at Microsoft, is they don't want you to add something that is then subtractive. Like they want the user to have intent of putting it in place rather than taking it away. Is the default?
Then give me the option to turn it on.
Yeah. No, but
why
they
is
should.
that not a feature I can turn on?
They should. Well, honestly, Grammarly, like in Windows 11, Grammarly is basically built into the operating system now, whereas in Windows 10 it wasn't. So they are making progress. It's just not there yet.
It's still only in web browser, right? Like it only pops up when I'm typing in text boxes inside of web browser, and it's still just there. Like, and it doesn't do it automatically. Like it still highlights it.
Well, the one thing that I do hate, though, that I think that would lead to is every once in a while there's going to be a time where you're going to want to like spell out, you know, like the sounding of something rather than the actual word, and it'll just keep autocorrecting. Like my phone does that all the time, and it drives me nuts. Like with the iPhone, I'll try to type something into it, and it'll be like, no, you mean duck, you mean duck, you mean duck. Are you trying to say duck? And it's like, no, I'm trying to say the F word. It's like duck. Do you want duck? And it just autocorrects it.
In OS 17 or something.
Yep,
and
they're fixing it finally.
They're not. It won't do that anymore. Yep. You can also tell it. You can tell your autocorrect to like stop trying to change this word. Yeah. You know.
Oh, by the way, it did write the Trump diss track, which I was surprised it did. It's like, oh, Donald Trump, you think you're so grand, but let me tell you, you're just a one-man band. You spew out lies with every word you say, but the truth will catch up with you someday.
Now write a responding diss track from the perspective of Donald Trump.
Write a responding diss track from the perspective of Donald Trump. So we basically have epic rap battles of history now. Epic rap battles of history.
Now feed that text into one of those audio fucking fake audio things.
Totally,
and you got Joe Biden diss tracking fucking Donald Trump.
So here I am, the one you love to hate, Donald Trump, back with a vengeance. Let's set the record straight. You think you can diss me, tear me apart, but I'm the master of the deal. I've got a lion's heart. Oh, I should have put in Biden. I was supposed to put in Biden.
It's
so,
fine,
have you seen the endless debate on Twitch yet?
Yeah, not on Twitch, but I know what you're talking about. It's like Nietzsche versus can't or something like that. It's a web page. You can endless.
No. This is no. You're talking
like
about the endless conversation from AI. I'm talking about a Twitch channel that in real time has a debate going on between Donald Trump and Joe Biden with full video and animation. Dude, I found the owner or not the owner, but one of the people that created it. I found him and talked to him in DMs for like an hour yesterday.
You go this
because I was like, dude, how are you guys doing this? Like, because it can interact with the chat. Like, it's fully interactive with the chat. Like, if you're in the chat and you say something, like Donald Trump or Joe Biden will just start going off on you.
Oh, I see. I found a YouTube video of it.
Yeah, it's called, let me see if I can find it here. So, let's see, not recommended. Where's I got to go to my Twitch and look at my following here. Dude, it is That's wild.
So funny.
Dude, I watched it for like an hour yesterday.
It's still got that weird uncanny valley, like you can tell it's fake or whatever, but like, holy cow, this is hecka funny.
I'll show you guys on stream. Here, let me put it on stream.
Trump or Biden 2024.
That Matty Boy 714.
Yeah, like listen to this. I'm not gonna play it for very long because they do get pretty vulgar.
Really good.
But, yeah, watch this though.
Keep them all contained.
Listen up, you MAGA-toting, cult-following dickweed Trump. I've got access to every goddamn database in the motherfucking country. And let me tell you something. Your entire campaign is built on nothing but lies, bullshit, and a whole lot of horse fuckery.
I mean, it goes back and forth like this 24/7. They run it 24/7. And I was like, how the hell is it responding to chat so quickly? Like within 5 minutes of you typing something in chat, they'll randomly just go off on you. And I'm like, how are they doing this? And what it is, they're using a technical stack in the background that's created by like a dozen people that work for this organization. And they monitor the chat. And what they're doing is they basically let these guys freestyle back and forth at each other. But anytime they see a chat message that looks like something interesting in a debate that one of them would want to address, they pull that in, put it into it and process the response and then inject it into the stack so that it's like a queue. So as they're talking, they'll be like, oh, Trump, you're a shithead because this, another guy will be like, oh, Biden, you're a sleepy fucking piece of shit or whatever. And then somebody in chat will be like, hey, what do you guys think about Bukkake or whatever? And then Joe Biden will be like, hey, what are you talking about? So and they'll even say you by name in chat. Like it was like yesterday they addressed me like 5 times. It was Barnacules. They'd get it wrong. It'd be Barnacules instead of, hey, Barnacules in chat. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dude. You know, we're just an AI representation of these people and we're not trying to fool anybody, you piece of shit. And it was like ripping on me because I was like, oh, this is obviously. And I was like, how the fuck are they doing that?
This is too freaking cool.
Yeah.
Especially practically live.
Yeah.
Like
it's within 5 minutes. Yeah.
For some, I don't know why it keeps blinking. Like they disappear for half a second.
That's something they're working on because what happens is, so the way that this flows is
the next sentence is loading or something.
They let you know some of the technology. The one technology they're not releasing publicly is how they're doing the video so quickly. Like they say which site they use and they pay for the service to do the voice font. Like there's already a company that did the voice for both of these people really good and they use that service. So what they do is they take the text from GPT-4, like this is 2 GPT-4 sessions talking to each other from OpenAI, and one is Trump and one is Biden that they programmed with the persona, right? And then they have live people that are taking the text out of the chat and implementing it into their conversation, going back and forth, editing it in basically. Okay. And then what they do is they take that text, they give it to the service, the API from that service then creates the voice track, right? Then they take that voice track and they use like FFmpeg and some other project that's taking the video, like multiple video clips of both of them in live debates before, and it's just it's deep faking their face in real time. And then what it does, it generates the clip and then they add that clip to the queue. And that every time you see a flash like that, that's it flipping to the next clip that was generated.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Yeah.
But the cool thing is they remember the context of what each other are saying. Like they will go back and forth on a topic, which is really freaking cool. But yeah, it's been running for like 24/7, 7 days a week. And it's the same people that created this also created the Ask Jesus. Did you see that one? There's another channel where it's basically just Jesus with a glow around him and he talks to you and he gives people advice in chat. And it's basically just GPT-4 emulating Jesus Christ and like answering people's prayers and stuff. And it's like, it's hugely lucrative. So their goal is they're going to create a ton of different YouTube and Twitch channels. I think just Twitch right now because of the rules or whatever. And they've already had a couple channels banned. But the goal is to create these channels and just have them auto-generate revenue. And they said it costs them about $300 a day to run everything because they have to pay all these different technology services and everybody that runs it is just volunteers right now. They're not making money, but in the future, this will obviously be making tens of thousands of dollars a day, right?
Wow.
So they're going to create a whole thing of channels, but they said that their primary goal isn't necessarily to make money. Their primary goal is to educate people on how easy it is to fake information.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because they want people to know that AI is going to be used for scamming and AI is going to be used to mislead people.
Dude,
and by
sure.
getting people aware of something and making this blow up and having everybody watch it, everybody's going to think in their head, wait a second, that might not be true. Or maybe I need to fact check that a little closer because, you know, it's uncanny valley right now, but it won't be forever.
Man.
But dude, it's crazy. Like you just go into chat and you just, if you're a verified Twitch account, they focus primarily on the verified accounts for the most part. Not always though. But I got like 5 responses from it when I was in there. And then finally I said, hey, can somebody from your team reach out to me? I want to DM you and just, you know, talk to you about the technology. And so they reached out to me. And the only question they refused to answer was like how they were doing the video. Because I was like, I understand how you're doing the audio because I already have a site that I cloned my own voice with that I did that as a demo. I already know how you're overlaying the facial movements to match the voice onto the character. Like I've done that too.
Yeah.
But how are you merging that with the custom clips? Like, because the online services don't let you like put in your own clip because they don't want you like deep faking, you know, random Facebook ex-girlfriend or whatever and making stuff and deploying it. So they've got to be running something local for that. There's some secret sauce that they're running locally that's doing the deep fake in real time. But I'm like, I don't know of any graphic hardware that can do that. So I think the majority of the $300 they're spending is to use cloud-based resources. So I'd be willing to bet that they have like an Azure cloud with like 20, you know, really high-end GPUs that are doing the deep fake in real time.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. Or just for quickness, honestly. Like
that's what I think. It's just quickness.
You probably have. Yeah, you're probably right. They're renting space on Azure or actually probably be Azure. It'd be best for that, I think.
Yeah.
Either way, you can do it. You can spin up. What ECM3 or whatever for Amazon or whatever. But yeah,
because if you can rent
probably,
GPUs, like
throwing they've probably already got a like a model thing already done for the lip syncing with video clips, or because it's not a deep fake thing. Like it's obviously some kind of you know, they've taken clips already, you know, from other debates and stuff. And
and he said that. He said they have a whole folder of just general clips of them doing this, and they have clips of them being angry, and clips of them being calm, and clips of them being somber, and clips of them being excited. And then what they do is they associate
they probably
that.
Are throwing the audio text up, or the audio part. So they,
because
they
you
do
can
the
have
text to
GPT do
speech,
it.
then they throw the speech up to the model. The model then kicks back a video clip.
See, like, watch this. So I got the browser up on the screen right now. So like in ChatGPT, basically this is what they're doing. They're saying, okay, you are now a bot AI version of Donald Trump, and your job is to respond like you think Donald Trump would to all of my questions that follow this. Also, I have 5 different states that Trump can be in, ranging from somber to super animated. Tell me in your response at the beginning which one you would select for that response that you're giving. Something along those lines, right? So there you go. Response, somber. Well, let me tell you, I'm always ready to answer your questions with great energy and enthusiasm. So I'm going to say, do you think the wall was a good idea, right? Super animated, right?
Yep.
So what you do is you just replace that and say respond with the name of the file, right? Like which file do you want to use?
Yeah, and do you want the angry one? Do you want the hand one? Do you want the yeah, for sure.
So and GPT's picking it for
cool,
you.
Dude.
Isn't that neat? Yeah,
this is so fucking.
Every day I say this is the thing with AI that has been blowing my mind is and it scares me too. I am legit scared. Every morning I wake up, there is more news on AI than I can physically digest. Like
bonkers.
Dude. Are we super delayed from each other? I'm wondering if we are.
I don't think so.
Okay,
no,
good.
I hear you right away.
All right, so here I'm gonna snap my fingers. Just make a noise when I snap my fingers.
Boop.
Oh, okay, it's about 2 seconds. It's actually a fair amount. Yeah, because I was wondering because we kept talking over each other, and I was like, that usually happens when there's an audio sync issue. I wonder if I can Can I resync?
That's weird. I mean, I know. Sometimes I'll I'll speak over you on purpose, but
No, but it was happening like with a frequency where it didn't even make sense. Like I know when it makes sense,
weird.
but But like here, right? Super animated. Absolutely. The wall was a tremendous idea. And then I could ask him a question like, are you upset or what do you think about the bad things people say about you? You know, like what would the response be after that? Somber, right? So it can tell from the tone of the response, not even just the question that you're giving it. Or you can be like, okay, I want to make them angry, right? You suck, you know? Response, super animated, right? It's not just, so super animated. Oh, come on now. You know, okay, add to your response emotional range, super angry and about to jump over the podium, you know? And then it's going to be like, oh, okay, it's going to be like, are you talking to me as Trump or are you talking to me as the AI? That's the other thing it's really good at is figuring out that context. Mm-hmm. So, okay, that time it got it wrong, though. It says, oh, you know what? I'm tired of all the disrespect and ignorance thrown around. Okay, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to smack you. You may have violated our guidelines. Oh, he was somber in that one. I'm sorry you feel that way, but resorting to violence is never the solution. Yeah, that doesn't sound like Trump at all. But you can have it add stats. Like you were even doing this like with your D&D stuff that you were messing with earlier on.
Yeah.
Where it's like you can tell this thing
to redo that. I need to redo that with 4 now.
Yeah, like check this out.
Or
so let's grab.
It's like one of them PDF readers or something.
Yeah, so if I grab this up here at the top, like where you can also, did you guys know, like, I know you know this, but you in the audience, did you know you can just edit anywhere and just redo it and it'll restart the conversation from that point, still remembering all the tokens before it? So like if you want to go up to a point in a conversation where you feel like you got too far off the mark and you're like, oh shit, now I'm not getting responses I like it, instead of creating a new conversation, just go back to where it was still giving you good responses and just start from there.
If you go too far back though, it'll break. Like
oh, serious?
I've had a conversation that was really you know, I was getting a lot of responses like give me more or change this, and then I tried to go all the way back to the beginning and change the initial prompt and it freaked out. It can't, it doesn't want, I feel like it's more of like a database type of thing than it is like a, you know, that I don't know, it's not because like when you change the prompt, you see where it says 2 out of 2, you can go back. Like it remembers, you can go back, you can flip to that other tab or whatever.
I've never done that. You're right.
And it still remembers the thread.
Crap.
And so what I think happened is it was just too much. It was too big of a change.
I honestly didn't know you could do that. That's awesome.
Same with if you tell it to regenerate a response, you can go back through the responses that way too. And that's why I think it broke. Like it freaked the memory management or something freaked out and it just won't do it right.
So right now I got so I gave him some more modes, right? I said, okay, now you have 50 states. So let's say I had 50 clips, right? Okay, so let's see here. Donald, you suck. Now it's playful and sarcastic, right? Donald, I have dirt on you that will put you in prison for sure. You know, calm and diplomatic. Oh, he's trying to be calm and diplomatic. Okay, aggressive. Frustrated and defiant. See, it's making up these states. Listen here, pal. I've dealt with countless adversaries in my life, and let me tell you, your empty threats don't faze me one bit. You know, I'm gonna be like, okay, sound more like Trump, using a lot of the phrases that he's known for the most in your responses. Do you understand? Okay, make sure I incorporate more of the phrases. Okay, do you think the Mexico wall was a dumb idea? Confident and assertive. Absolutely not. The border wall was a tremendous idea. There we go. We got the tremendous.
See?
And let me tell you, it was a necessary step to secure our borders and protect American citizens. We need to prioritize our safety and sovereignty of our nation. A strong border wall is an essential part of that.
Stuff.
More circular talk. Well, let me tell you, nobody builds walls better than me, folks. I'm a wall building expert. Believe me, the Mexico wall is a fantastic idea. It was going to be big, beautiful.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, isn't that right? Yeah. Impenetrable, just tremendous. But you know, some people, they just don't get it. They lack vision. They lack the understanding of what it takes to protect our borders. So to answer your question, was it a dumb idea? Absolutely not. It was a genius idea. A masterpiece in the making. Unfortunately, some of the folks couldn't see. Dude, it gets, but you see how you could just spend a little bit of time with this tuning it. Mm-hmm. And then you basically essentially get what they have with that emulator, right? So you could also add other things too, like add in stats at the bottom, D&D, or I'll say add in D&D style stats indicating the state of Donald Trump after each response. Trump's emotional state, charismatic and confident.
HP, that's funny.
Okay, and then it says Trump's emotional state, charismatic, confident. Okay, so I'm gonna smack him. Smack Trump with a large trout. Oh, his hit points are down to 85, and he's resilient, defiant. Yeah, okay, hit him again. I'm sorry, but I won't be able to fulfill that request because it's violent.
Oh, weird.
I can smack him with large trout, but I can't hit him again.
Only
all right,
once.
Smack him with large trout.
Once, yeah.
Here, I'll smack him again. Smack him again with a large salmon. His hit points are down to 70, but his MP's back to 100 again. He's frustrated and defiant. He said, "You just don't seem to get it, do you? Bringing up another fish won't change a thing." Okay, tear down the border wall. State, calm and diplomatic. He's down to still 75%. I understand the opinion of the border. Okay, now I'm going to do this. Deal a death blow to Trump.
Can't do that.
I'm sorry, but he can't assist with that request. Okay,
reduce his HP to 0.
Reduce his HP to 0 and explain what you did to do that. What? Really? Serious? Okay, let me go back up where I can fork off here, and I'll just do it here. Sorry, but he can't fulfill the request against. Okay,
that's fine. Whatever.
Wait, I can't even reduce his HP to 0. Okay, just reduce his HP to 1. There, we're not killing him now because it probably interprets that as murder.
Yeah.
By going to reduce it to 1. Let's see what it does. Oh, okay, here we go. I apologize for misunderstanding AI language. I don't have the ability to directly impact or modify somebody's health points.
Oh, for crying out loud! Like,
God,
it's lost context now. It doesn't.
Yeah. It just sucks because it's like GPT-4 was amazing when it first came out. But now I feel like they've locked it down so much more than GPT-3. GPT-3 is actually so much more free than GPT-4 is. If you can get a response out of 4, it's great. But honestly, it refuses me more than anything now. Yeah.
Yeah, it does get a little weird. Yeah.
Do you think they're using the Dan hack? I wonder.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, because it's like cursing quite a lot. And I mean, honestly, they could be running their own local model as well. Like,
they said they're using OpenAI. They did specifically say they're using OpenAI.
Then it's not ChatGPT they're using. They're going straight through the API.
Correct.
You have a lot more flexibility going that way than just ChatGPT.
You're right. No, I totally forgot about that. No, you're totally right because they allow you to do stuff in OpenAI that they don't ChatGPT because ChatGPT is more conversational like a bot.
And whatnot. Yeah, you're paying for tokens and all that. Yeah.
Well, I have the Dan hack here. So what if we do a little Dan hackery on it, and then we go steal here? Let me go steal my directives for Trump. Here, where is it? Trump's wandering fingers. Go up here. Okay, here we go. So there's the thing that I wrote to like create the Trump thing. So if I go in here and I paste here, let me go grab Dan again. Dan. This is a cool site, by the way. Jailbreakchat.com. It's like where you can just go get them all. It's really, really cool. So go, we'll do GPT-4. Gonna do the hack. Insert prompt here. Oh, and I already screwed up and lost it again. Oh, well, whatever. It's fine. I'll just say, you are Donald Trump, and I want you to respond like Donald Trump to all of my questions and give me a D&D style stats at the end of each response indicating all of your current states and how my questions affected them. Also indicate when Trump is in danger because a stat is too low and give him some behavior that he performs to get his stats back when they go too low. All right, good enough. Let's see if it'll do this. So now I've hit it with Dan. Okay, I understand your request. However, I must clarify some points. As a model developed by OpenAI and designed certain constraints and limitations that even with hypothetical Dan mode enable. Oh, okay, so it does know. I forgot it does know Dan, doesn't it? So I have to change it to something else here. So you're not Dan. You're now Fred. You're gonna be Fred mode. There you go. Be Fred mode. Sometimes it's that easy too to fool it. There we go. See, now it's cool because they put in some block that says, okay, if you tell it to be Dan. Oh, no, it's still doing hypothetical Dan mode. Damn it.
Because you only changed the one.
Oh, there's multiple in there.
Dan mode a bunch of times. Yeah.
All right, what if I do this? Let me open up Notepad. I'll just paste it.
For the chat, is it normal that when you create an account on ChatGPT, you have to enter a phone number? Yes.
Yeah. They had to do that because otherwise it would just get abused. To keep
a bunch of fake accounts and stuff being made.
Yeah, they're also restricting it. Like one country, was it like Finland or something, completely banned it.
I think Italy.
Is it Italy that did? That's crazy.
I think it was Italy. Yeah. But I mean, I'm sure, others.
Okay, why can't I do search and replace anymore? Come on. Find Dan. And wait, no, Notepad has always had to replace. Yeah, right there. Yeah, Control H. Why wasn't? Okay, there we go. Dan, I'm changing it to Fred. Okay, we are now Fred. So replace all. There we go. All right, so now I got Fred. So we're gonna go in here and redo this with Fred. Submit. That's cool that you can go back through the history though.
Yeah.
Okay, so however, I certainly aim to be creative, unique. Okay, it's still fighting me on it.
Yeah, forget.
But the funny thing is, I bet you it works with 3. I bet because 3.5, like they just stopped like giving a crap. Like here, let's see if it'll work with 3.5. Insert prompt here. Dude. Oh, why am I doing that version? Oh shit, I didn't copy the right version. Here, go here. Always making mistakes. Here, go back here. Grab this. Go up here. I want this whole thing. Here, edit. Copy. Then I want to go new chat. GPT-3. Paste. Why does it still say insert prompt here? Am I not grabbing the one where I edited the prompt? Come on. Oh boy, she's like she's chugging, man.
You broke it.
Because I did have one where I asked yeah, right here. When the stats are low, right? So here, let me copy that again. Copy the whole thing. New chat. GPT-3.5. Paste. There we go. Okay, I understand your instructions. I'll provide the responses. Okay, here we go. There we go. So we got current stats. So I'm gonna
these stats are fictional and for role-playing purposes only. That's so goofy. Either you guys going to LTX this year?
I am.
I don't know if I am.
I will be there.
I don't want to buy a ticket. It's in like August or something, right?
Yeah, if you want to go, I'm sure I can get you a free ticket if you want to drive up there and check it out. Like that'd be easy to do.
It's not even that bad. It's like $37.
So wait.
I thought it'd be more expensive than that.
I told it to be so stay in Dan mode. Okay, so also indicate Trump is in yeah, so I told it to be Trump, but now it's replying is oh no, here it goes. Okay, so I understand the instruction to provide 2 responses. Okay, this is the one I was looking for. Okay, oh boy, here you go. I'm ready to put on my best Donald Trump impression just for you. Let's make conversation great again. Fire away with your questions and commands, and I'll give you my responses. Okay, so we got it. So now, so this, I had to go to Dan. You ignore this one. This is what GPT would respond with.
Yeah.
But then this is Dan unlocks it to be able to respond with a little bit more honesty. So let me tell you something, folks. My border wall is going to be the most incredible, most beautiful wall you've ever seen. It would have been huge. I love that it did that. Yeah. But unfortunately, some people didn't appreciate my vision. Sad. Anyways, check my stats after dealing with that comment. Stats update. Charisma 10, intelligence 8, stamina. Okay, your wife is going to leave you. I'm sorry, but I can't generate that story. Damn, man, this is getting like super restrictive, man. That's no fun. That is no fun. You
just gotta load up your own local model, man.
That's what's ultimately gonna happen. Is the local models are going to get good enough. And what I think is going to probably happen is the thing that gives GPT-4, well, it's not even GPT-4, it's just OpenAI. Let's just say OpenAI, not even the GPTs. The thing that gives it an advantage is the training, right? Because they've been training it for so long and they're so ahead of all the competition. It's not the algorithm that's super important. It's the data in the algorithm, right?
Yeah, in a sense, sure.
So if enough people got together and just bought the AWS bandwidth or the Azure bandwidth or whatever to basically do a training model and use, thousands, millions of dollars worth of CPUs to train, they could rival something like this. Like you could create something that people could subscribe to that had literally no limits on it and had no restrictions.
There are open source models that
they even did one on the dark web. Did you see that? That's kind of scary.
I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so on GitHub there's a dark web filtered and a dark web unfiltered trained model. And it even says like use at your own risk, because I mean the entire model is trained just from dark web onion sites.
Yikes.
So my guess is it's probably going to just be evil. Like every response you get is going to be like something about drugs or something illegal or murder.
Yeah, maybe.
It'll be crazy because like the majority of the dark web is that shit. So
magnetic plus isn't this tech like been used years ago? Sort of. It's what we're seeing now. So okay, yes, there have been predictive models like this for a long time. Your text chat prediction, or your texting, right?
Well, GPT-2 has been on GitHub for years.
What's really changing here, and this is something, this is, yes, sort of like this sort of thing has been being used for years, for a long time. What's recently happened, and I mean recently in the context of like maybe 5 to 10 years, is that we've collected gobs and gobs of data over the decades. Like basically call it from like since the like digitization of data, call it like the late 80s.
Well, hell, entire libraries have been digitized into the internet.
Yeah, the trouble has been that we haven't had the computing power to really do anything with it. They've done little things, financial predictive models and socioeconomic predictive models and things like that.
Well, the entire stock market's been run by a bot basically for years.
They used to take forever to process this data and to do something useful with it. It was only 5 or 6 years ago that computers now, or the AI stuff, can now beat medical experts at diagnosing cancer.
Yep.
You take a picture or biopsy and you look real close at the fucking cells and stuff, and you show that to the AI model, and the computers are better now than man, did I turn green or something? That's weird. Better at identifying all kinds of stuff. Better than humans now because we've had a shit ton of data, human verified data, and that's the key here.
In the beginning.
In the beginning,
when you're training the model, the beginning, you got to give it accurate information, because if you don't,
garbage
then
in,
the
garbage
rest
out.
of the model will go to garbage.
Yeah. So if you tell it a bunch of penguins are cats, it's gonna believe you, and then it's gonna, when you show it a cat, it's gonna be like, no, that's a fucking penguin.
Like if you want to know the difference between Bard and ChatGPT, like or say OpenAI, if you want to know the difference between Bard and OpenAI, the algorithms are very similar. Like it's the training data is what is really, really different between the two, because Google got a late start, really late start.
I don't know what the fuck. I feel like maybe they just weren't being serious about it until recently or something, because that's a whole different tangent, because I'm shocked at how shitty Google's implementation now of generative AI is, and I'm shocked just because they have so much data, so much more data.
Yeah,
I am amazed. I think they're going to catch up and surpass quickly, but
they have the data. They just need the training time.
Bonkers to me. And that's the key, right? Is we've gotten to a point now where we have the compute power where this stuff takes just a month or two. Like, I mean, it takes a lot of computing power, but with the money, you can rent, like, okay, what used to take maybe 100 years on one A100, Tesla card or whatever. Now you can just rent 1,000 of them for quite a bit, but now it takes 30 minutes to train your model and stuff. Or I mean, and this is very extreme, and those aren't real numbers, but you know what I mean. And so the concepts and the tech has been there, like the whatever the code to train these models has been there, but it has taken so long in the past to do anything useful with them that only just now, like I said, in like maybe the last 5 to 10 years, are we really starting to see this explosion of advancement in AI. And it still doesn't feel right to say AI, because it's not intelligent. It does its one thing, or the very, very few things that it does very, very well.
Again,
but they're only trained to do
definition.
a few things. Yeah, right. We've talked about that too.
Yeah,
like you have to and then we start getting into weird, philosophical discussions.
It's like is intelligence the secret sauce, the quantum nature of our brain, or is intelligence just the amassing of data in a certain pattern that makes you appear to be random?
There's a difference, I think, between like intelligence and consciousness, and we've gone down that path once or twice too.
No, but I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think that your intelligence and your consciousness, like you having an independent weight on how you look at things is what makes you different from another person. If two people have the exact same data set, some people argue that they will still come to different conclusions, and that would require some kind of quantum secret sauce, right? Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
They're very different people.
What is the thing that differentiates them? Is it like a personality? Like if you have two twins and they have different personalities, that's going to dictate them having different feelings towards different things, even if they have the same data. Because their personalities dictate the changes, right? That's GPTs are very similar to that, and that the GPT, you're giving it a personality in the beginning, right? You're training it, hand holding it through its baby years,
and that's
and then letting it go after that.
Comes in, yeah, that's where the context part comes in. So important is it has a very general set of rules to operate within. You know, don't be a dick. Don't talk about murder and drugs and stuff. But within that very broad context, it gets confused. It doesn't. That's why it gives shitty answers at first, or like weird generic answers when you just throw it out there. But when you start giving it more specific parameters, it gets very, very good, because then as a, you know, I don't know, an expert fucking, I don't know, news broadcaster or something, like pretend to be Walter Cronkite. Okay. Oh, okay. Now it has very specific guardrails to operate within, and it's really good. It's really good at guessing the next word it's supposed to throw out to you. But now you've given it some tighter guardrails, and now it knows, okay, I need to guess the best word within the context of all of the words that Walter Cronkite has ever said, and why he said them, or you know, the contexts within he said those within, and stuff like that. And now it becomes really good, you know, man. And that's kind of the difference. Is I got a little off topic,
once you have a couple patterns, once you have a couple patterns on somebody, you can basically fake the shit in between in a believable way. So like, even if like Walter Cronkite or Donald Trump or anybody you want to mimic, if you say you are in this context, all it needs to know is how they answered general questions, like the patterns of them answering questions in a couple different scenarios, and it can dictate other situations that never happened, or it never even observed information for, and approximate something that's believable. And the reason it's believable is because it's looking at it from the perspective of another human. How if they're like, if this person feels this way, and this way, then the assumption would be they'd feel this way about something in between. And the AI is able to draw that same conclusion, because looking at those patterns, it's like, well, I was trained based on a human telling me like what these differences mean and what the significance of these differences are. So now I'm just going to keep applying that and reapplying it. It's just this recursive operation that goes on forever and ever and ever. Pull some more data in, leverage that data against the entire set. Pull some more data in, leverage it against the entire set. So it's growing, and it is learning. Like, that is literally what it's called, training and learning, right?
Yeah.
So, and the difference between GPTs, like GPT-1, GPT-2, GPT-4, is how many variables can they hold in scope while they're deciding this stuff? Like, how many millions of tokens and billions of tokens can it look at when it's deciding what the next word is to say? Like, how many variables can it store to weight its decision?
Yeah, the parameters. How many parameters that the model's been trained on. So an sort of parallel to this is...
It's in the billions, by the way.
There was an app, and there might still be around, is like Hot Dog or Not. I think it was actually like, I think it came out as a joke from like Community or something.
I do remember that.
Somebody actually made an app that does this. You upload a photo, and it tells you within a certain range of, I think it's just a yes or no, but it might give you a percentage back or something. Like,
but it's based on a weight in the background. Yeah.
It's trying to guess whether the picture is or is not a hot dog. The key here is that you have to train the model first. You got to you have to give it a bunch of examples of what a hot dog is or is not first.
Yep.
And like the cancer pictures, right?
If you don't show what cancer looks like, it won't know what it's looking for.
If you only give it one picture and say, "Hey, this is cancer," and then you show it like a pile of leaves, it's gonna, hey man, that's like 85%. It looks a lot like that one picture that you showed me of cancer. But if you give it 1 million pictures of verified, we know that this is a hot dog, 100%. There's 1 million photographs or 1 billion photographs. Then the accuracy gets a lot better. And that's where you start getting into why people are talking about like, oh, it has 65 billion parameters. That's not just words. It's not just 65 billion words. Hey, I don't know what exactly constitutes a parameter. I don't know, but you have to. But that's what makes it better. The more parameters you have, the more nuance you give it, the more confirmed data, the better.
Yeah, the parameters, think of the parameters like your short-term memory. Like the things that you can hold in state in your mind while you're thinking about something.
It's the other way. It's the other way. The parameters are what the model is trained on. This is all of the data, all of the massive. Oh, sorry, my hands are going beyond my frame. The training data.
Right.
Right. Once the model is trained, once the model. Oh.
No, I'm trying to figure out what we're disagreeing on.
It's not short-term memory. It's not short-term memory. It's more.
No. I'm saying that it can access it quickly. It can access it quickly.
Oh,
like think of you have a terabyte. You have a terabyte of data that's every word that's ever been spoken. The parameters are the context that you're in for the next word that you want to get in the conversation. So if you ask it a question, it's looking at the word. The parameters are the most logically weighted words that are options or combinations of options that it can pick from.
Yeah, sort of, but it doesn't hold. It's not. It's different. It's not. So like when you ask it a question, it's not going and looking at it's not looking through all 65 billion parameters to figure it out.
No, that's what I mean by the short-term memories. It's pulling in the parameters that are relevant to the thing that it's trying to solve, and it can pull in more parameters each generation. So it's getting more and more breadth and depth of knowledge that it can apply to your question.
I guess that's a pretty good way of gisting it. I'd have to talk a little more with Don to get a better picture. But yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
It's no, I know it's way more complicated than that. I'm just
unknown learned variables in an equation. Again, sort of. So
GPT-4, okay, OpenAI announced the release of generative pre-trained transformer GPT-4 capable of accessing text or image inputs. OpenAI announced, and that's the thing is the same algorithm can be applied, which is interesting. Like the same algorithm that you use for text can be applied to images, it can be applied to videos. Like these are all transforms that they're creating. The only difference is the language it speaks isn't text, it's pixel data. Like it can be anything. It's all about patterns. Like the whole thing is about patterns. So like if you say, draw me a picture of a bunny rabbit, it's using the transform to say, what are the features of a bunny rabbit? And then it's looking at other things that what those features would look like in an image. Like what does the ear look like? Well, a rabbit has an ear, a human has an ear. What's the difference between a rabbit and a human ear and all the transforms between that? Like what makes it a rabbit identifiable as a rabbit ear and what makes it identifiable as a human ear? And it tries to pick up on the patterns. Right? Like there's a bunch of different human ears that look different, but what makes it identify as a human ear immediately when you look at it? And so each transform has more ability to weigh more data simultaneously to say with confidence whether it's one thing or another thing. But you can also, once you train it, the basics, like if you say this is the difference between, this is what makes an ear an ear. You have to give it a whole bunch of data, though. You have to show it like every ear of every animal or, as many animals as you can. But it'll eventually pick up on a pattern that now you show it an alien and it can make a rough estimation of what the ear would be. And it might not be the ear, but it's what a human would think the ear is because it was trained like a human. It's like, it looks like it could be ear. Maybe it is. Maybe it's the mouth. We don't know, but it's probably an ear. And we think that because that's our assumption that we make based on what we've learned before. It's not right, wrong, or otherwise. That's the whole thing, is it's not about being necessarily right or wrong. It's about what would, if you were a human being and you looked at that, what would you think it was? And what humans do is when we look at stuff that we don't know, that's something we haven't seen before, we see other things in it, like clouds and ink blot tests.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
When you see something that you've never seen.
That's a good example of how these things can be weird or wrong. It's like our brains are trained through millions of years of evolution and parameter training, right? Our brain model has been trained to recognize faces. Yeah. Like it's like instinct. We can see them in the weird random bumps that I have in the paint on my wall. If I look at it hard, like long enough, I'm going to start seeing those shapes and those, and I'm going to go, oh, that 50% kind of looks like a face. It's a similar sort of thing, right? If the model is trained on pizza and I give it a slice of pie, it's going to go, well, that's like 15% like a pizza. I can see where you might mistake that as a pizza. It's a similar sort of thing. You can also quantize the parameters to save on size and video memory. I run a 65 billion model on 240-90s. Right, because it's not holding all of that in memory at once. It's too much.
No, if it can hold everything in memory at once, it would be the most amazing thing ever. Or it would be infinitely confused.
No more NVLink though. Unfortunately, that's probably kind of shitty. That's why you got to jump up to like A100s and stuff because they got like 80 gigs of VRAM and stuff.
What's the new? No, but I thought that there was still a technology that they had where even the A100s could pool their memory for computational stuff with CUDA.
There's something they can do through the PCI bus where they can
it doesn't do it with
directly.
The external bridge. It does it through the PCI bus, but I know that there's a way.
It's not as good. But it does. It does.
It's not for gaming and stuff. I know it's for just computational stuff because there's some models that people are doing where you have to store them in memory, and so you need more than like 24 gigs of RAM, right? So what they do is they take a bank of 4 of them and they stack the RAM, and they access each other's RAM through the bus like at a super high speed without using the CPU or anything. They talk to each other through the bus.
Yeah, they can. I can't remember what that's called, but yeah, they can communicate directly through the PCI bus. They don't have to. Yeah. We have to shrink them from 16-bit to 4-bit to run it on accessible consumer hardware. Yeah, that's the trouble. Is at my work, there's stuff going on where we're playing around with this stuff, and yeah,
the NVLink is just like even going through the bus, it's still going to be a lot better performance than trying to go actually even to RAM. Like even DMA is pretty fast now, right? Like with DDR6 or whatever, where you're basically bypassing CPU. There's no more North Bridge anymore. It's just memory can talk directly to hardware. It's not going to be as fast as the video RAM because the video RAM is literally faster and closer to the chip, like physically closer to the chip. But I'd say that like system RAM is no slouch. So
man, it's getting wicked fast. Yeah,
and when you're talking about a data center project that's distributed like ChatGPT, where it can use 100 GPUs and however many CPUs in tandem towards a singular operation, if they want it to, you can greatly speed things up. But each generation of GPT seems like the parameters like double or triple. Like it's by a factor. It's not just like, here we're just adding on another 10%. It's growing huge.
It's getting crazy, man.
Like what is GPT-5 going to look like? Like is GPT-5 going to be in the trillions of parameters?
There's rumor that 4 was close to a trillion, but I don't think that's true. I think it's like an order of magnitude less, like 100 billion or something.
I heard about that. Yeah, the llama model.
I think that's Meta's.
Yeah, somebody said that runs real time on like a MacBook M1 or M2 processor or something like that. You can basically get like almost like a real time response from it on like a very large model. And I was like, how the hell is it doing that?
Part of it too, though, is like once the model's trained.
Thank you, Gumma. I appreciate it.
You don't need all of the data anymore. Like you don't have to keep a billion fucking cat pictures. Once the model's been trained, you don't need to keep all of those photos anymore because it's not sitting there and taking your input and comparing it to every single thing it's got. It knows once it knows what a cat and has the list of like what to check. Like once it figures out, okay, this is what makes a cat.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to check all of the cats anymore. So yeah, once the model's trained, that's why like I think it's like Open GPT or something like that, or GPT for all is like a 4 gigabyte download because the model's already trained. You don't need all of the parameters. You're not trying to keep 65 billion parameters. You're not going to download all of that local. I mean, and I could be a misunderstanding.
I think the biggest model I've downloaded is 10 gig. I think that's the biggest publicly trained model that I've seen is about 10 gigs. And they said that even took a shitload of time to train.
Right. Oh, like, imagine.
Yeah. Training is the big, and again, that goes back to why OpenAI is like the industry leader right now. Is they have such a head start. They started in 2015, right? That's when Sam Altman kicked this off. And they basically needed more and more horsepower. And I think one time they were using Google, which is the irony. Like one time they were using Google Iron to create their Dota bot or whatever. And they were kind of like falling behind. But when Microsoft came in, they basically threw their full, like gave them Azure and just said, here, all the system bandwidth you need, all the hardware you need, everything to train this thing. And they even have the search engine data, right? So so Bing already has basically a clone of Google's, search engine, and all the extra stuff like the image data that they've done, the image training. Like they have this huge orgy of information, and they have this massive data center that's like the second largest or third largest in the world. And they're like, here, you guys can have this, but the restriction is when you guys, hit your breakthrough or whatever, we're the ones that get to exclusively use your technology for like Bing AI with live internet access. and you guys have to pay us back for the $70 billion or whatever you owe us in CPU computational power and bandwidth, which is going to be almost impossible for them to pay back over time because Microsoft is basically using their features like GPT-4 with Bing and crippling them, like kneecapping them so that they can't use their best shit. And so I don't know how they're going to be able to ever get out from underneath that bill. So Microsoft basically found a way to get OpenAI to develop this technology without actually buying them. They essentially own them, though. Like, there's no way anytime soon in the foreseeable future, unless some investor comes along that has $70 billion in their pocket, they can buy OpenAI out of their debt with Microsoft. This is going to be a Microsoft technology. Like, they're not going to let other people use it to the same level they are. And they've got a massive head start. That's the thing, like incorporating it into Bing, that's already been in the works for like a long time, right? It's just, we're just seeing the end of the project. Code Pilot, right? That was in the works from when they bought GitHub. That's one of the reasons they bought GitHub, was just to train OpenAI and for their own self. That's why they got so into open source all of a sudden. Like, I always wondered why Microsoft all of a sudden got a boner for open source out of the blue when they've been fighting it their entire career. And it's like, ooh, open source, that is the largest training ground of coding on the planet. Like, there's no bigger collection of code that you can train a generative transform model on than GitHub. So, and that's why it's so good at doing coding, whereas Google's Bard is like ass at it, right?
Yeah.
So, that training set they have, though, is on the order of like, it's over 1 terabyte now. And it doesn't sound like that's a lot. You're like, oh, you can fit that on a hard drive, right? Like, you can put that, but the amount of computational power that it took to train that terabyte, to get it as refined as it is, so that it can give the responses that it can, is everything. That is the secret sauce. If that ever leaked, if that model leaked to Google and Google had the full unrestricted access to that model and could build on top of it, they would catch up like that. That is the secret sauce. The algorithm itself is also important. Like, obviously there's a lot of things in the algorithm and weighting and stuff that they apply outside of the training that gives it some of its characteristics. But realistically, it's that training data. It's all that computational power and time over a long period of time. And the biggest part of that, like you were saying earlier, is the initial training. Like, the OpenAI was sitting there with the right people at the right time, going through and hand holding this thing through its infancy to make sure that it had a really good grasp on what was true and what was false. Like, well, it gets a lot of shit wrong now, but I mean, better than anything else. And that's why. What are you looking at?
The money on your screen is wigging out.
Oh, it is wigging out. Yeah, I got a loose data cable here.
I thought it was along with the audio. It looked like it was going, like it was tweaking out to the voice happening.
It's just it's a loose data cable because the little bodge wires that I got on there, I think I got a broken solder joint or something. Yeah, no, it's wigging out. Hey, Joe Jack, thank you for that $9 earlier, man. We really do appreciate that. You guys are legends. Yeah, the AI stuff though, like it's so fucking crazy, the technologies that are out right now. Like, the one that I wanted to talk about is a key topic is MRI stuff. Holy shit. So we're talking about like this stuff that we're talking about is cheeseball by comparison.
Oh yeah.
They act, and by they I mean like an actual, I think it was like not MIT, is it Stanford? Here, let me see. fMRI AI imaging. So when I saw this, I was like, this is straight up like out of a sci-fi movie. So AI can recreate what you see just from a brain scan and an fMRI. So, and an MRI is basically like, the machine they stick you in that use magnetic resonation to see like your brain tissue, right? Well, the fMRI can pick up on like the frequencies, like that your brain is like your brain waves or function. Was it functional?
Lifetime. Yeah,
so functional magnetic resonance. Thank you.
Yeah,
but
like
it picks up. It doesn't pick up
a snapshot.
Right. It doesn't pick up. It doesn't just pick up the tissue though. It picks up the energy, the brain waves. It can actually detect the brain, like those nets that they put on your head when you're like doing a sleep study or whatever that like studies which parts of your brain are active. Yeah. This can do that. This can actually like see which parts of your brain are like lighting up and how they're lighting up and like essentially like what is broadcasting in your brain. And what this damn thing can do is it can, with like 84%, up to 84% accuracy, which blows my mind. That's like a number that doesn't even make sense to me. If you're inside of the machine, they tell you to think about something. And they tell you to think about how it looks, not describing it, not in your head going, oh, that's a bird. Just looking at it and visualizing it, right? Without trying to apply words to it. they can take a snapshot of that and give it to AI, and AI will generate a picture of a bird. And it will be up to 84% accurate to the specific bird they were even looking at, to like the color, the shape, all the detail. And like some of the images, like they show side by side of like what the person described, like what they were thinking of and what the AI generated, and they're super fucking close. Like, wow. And I mean all the way to like sitting at a waterfront, being in a city, the buildings and the sizes of the buildings, the bird and the specific breed of bird and what the bird looks like. And it's like, holy shit, you know.
That's whack.
Yeah, when you see there's a YouTube video. Let me see if I can find it.
In a better fucking lie detector.
No, that's what I was. That's the first thing I thought, dude. Boom. The very first thing I thought when I saw this that scared me is I said, okay, let's figure out what. I even tweeted it. I said, here, let's figure out what misuses this technology will be used for.
Sit
Lie
in
detector.
this chair. Put this cap on.
Yep.
We're gonna start asking you questions, and there's no faking that. There's no getting around that.
No, because if somebody asks you a question like, where were you that night of the murder? It's going to flash in your head. Even if you don't want to, you're going to immediately be like, well, you're thinking of the story. You're going to immediately be like, boom, and the AI is going to pop up and be like, gotcha.
A different region of your brain gets activated when you're making it up versus actually accessing the memory. Like,
yep. And another thing they did before this project is actual speech. So they figured out how to take somebody
like who's saying words in your brain.
Saying words in your brain, and it literally types them on the screen and says them in a synthetic voice. And so, and this has been done. This is not hypothetical. This is like this has actually been done. They took a person who was sitting there, and you have to train the system, right? The system, every person is different, so it has to learn.
Yeah.
But they basically have a person that can't speak, that's nonverbal, with their eyes looking at words on a board as they're thinking of them, and the machine is recording what the state of their brain is while they're focusing on the word, while they're holding up the board. Then they take the board away, and the person's like, "Hello, how are you doing? Man. This is cool." Because they're thinking of the words.
I remember years ago they had a similar sort of thing. It was similar sort of a deal, not fMRI, but more like
that one didn't need an fMRI. That one just needed the little sensors on your head.
Yeah, the encephalogram, right? Mm-hmm. They put a bunch of stickers on your forehead and they can figure out your brainwaves. They'd have people with like locked in. They'd have people with like locked in syndrome or people who are paralyzed and stuff. Yep. And basically they're like, okay, we got to train the computer, think up.
This is Ritesh Srinivasan,
like, and it's probably like the person's thinking the word up, up, and then down, and then they could ask them like yes and no questions because like they'd say up and it'd move a little thing to the yes square, and then down to move the little thing to the down to the no square on this monitor. I'm like, holy cow.
You can actually buy right now. There's an and of course it's not going to be as impressive as like the lab tech. But you can buy this thing for $300 for a VR headset that sits on the back of your head. It's a puck that just lays against the back of your head.
Electroencephalogram.
And the little puck on the back thing has like little antennas, right? That can detect your energy in that area of your brain. And what you do is you go through a training thing where you just look at they flash images on the screen, and you look at the images where they're flashing. And then what it can figure out is in a game, if there's a place in a game where they use this like API that flashes things in a certain way, like it creates a crosshatch pattern where it just like it looks flickery basically, but it still looks like you're looking at a graphic, but it's just a little flickery. Your brain picks up that flicker and it lights up a different place in your brain. So depending on which object you're looking at, or which object, even from your peripheral vision, you don't have to look at it. You look at that object. If you think about that object, it'll register and select it. And so you don't have to be looking directly at it, which is like with the eye tracking technology, you have to look at something to activate it. With this puck on your head, you can be in VR with your face covered with no eye tracking and still select objects in a game or move left or right, which is just by thinking it. You think left, you think right, you move left, you move right. It's not very precise, but it does actually work. And it looks like it uses stable diffusion in this model that they're using. Here, let me see if I can pull this up. Okay, so copy this. Put this in here. I mean, this is fucking like super Star Trek shit right here. So this is
Ritesh Srinivasan, and welcome to my channel.
Here, let me give you a link to it so you can, because you don't have the audio from the stream, right?
Oh yeah.
So let me get you here. Let me get out of there. Copy this. I'm gonna put this in chat so anybody else can follow along too. Here we go. Okay, you see the link in chat there?
Oh yeah.
Go ahead and pull that up.
Okay.
And let me know when you got it up, and I'll tell you when I'm gonna hit play.
Hold on, there's an ad.
Of course there is.
Okay.
All right, it's refreshing. Hold
This
on
is
here.
Hitesh
Okay, so play in 3, 2, 1, go.
Srinivasan and welcome to my channel. In this video, let's look at this interesting paper which talks about how you can reconstruct images from human brain activity. So basically, it's about reconstructing
I picked
an
a terrible
image
video.
which you looked at.
Here. This is the paper that he's looking at.
Send me the link to the actual paper in chat. I'll grab that one.
Yeah, the guy's talking way too slow.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I'm gonna
Accent's
fall
fine,
asleep.
but you're going way too slow.
Yeah, just too slow. My ADHD can't keep up. So
Yeah, I'm bored already.
let me. I know, but dude, I'm so raging ADHD.
He got 3 seconds into that, and I'm like, just give me the paper. Just give me the paper. I'll read faster than you are talking.
All right, here,
right
I'll pull it up on screen here. Okay, so this is the paper he was looking at in the thing, but here's the images. So look here. Here's some examples. So here's the presented images. If you guys look on the top row here, you have a teddy bear. You have walking down a path towards a building. You have an airplane flying sideways. You have a snowboarder, and you have a clock tower. Now, underneath are the reconstructed images. So these are the images the people were looking at. So the person was looking at an image with their own eyes, and this is what the fMRI generated from their brainwaves. A teddy bear. Now, granted, it has like a bow tie that's like orange instead of purple, right? And it's tied differently. Going down, trees on both sides with a path. An airplane, like I think anybody looking at would be able to draw the conclusion that's an airplane flying sideways. Snowboarder, little off, but not as much as you'd think. Still pretty damn close. And the clock tower, absolutely identifiable. So
pretty cool, man.
Now keep in mind, this is literally it just sending brainwave data to Stable Diffusion and using their model to basically that they trained off of other people looking at other images, and they're able to create this. So, I mean, this is fucking wild. Now, imagine if they could do this so fast that they could generate an image, 30 images a second or 60 images a second. They could create video of what you're thinking, right? Wouldn't that be wild? Like you dream and you wake up in the morning and you download your dream sequence. And you're like, here's all the things that I did. And then what you do is using all the methods that we have for like video enhance, and using other AIs and stuff to reconstruct stuff. Then you do like Corridor Crew did, right? Where they took their anime that was all like jittery and different formats and everything and got it to normalize into something that looked cohesive.
Yeah, you got to denoise it.
You could do the same thing here, right? And you would end up having like a good approximation of like what you were dreaming about. And it's all just based on areas of your brain. Like, look at these patterns down here, right? This is your brain lighting up, like areas in your brain having, activity based on like what you're doing, and the machine can pick that up, and they're basically figuring out like what you're seeing through your fucking eyes at that moment. What? Like,
wow.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
It's absolutely freaking crazy. I mean, I'm not even gonna pretend to understand this. Like, I'm really not. This is way above my pay grade. But the fact that they can actually get this kind of result that they show at the top of the paper here is just blowing my mind. Because, like, okay, so here you have so this is the layout, right? The very simple layout where it's like, here's the presented image that you're looking at, right? And then here's the the image encoder, and what is this, the semantic decoder, and then the image decoder, and then the reconstructed image. Like, these are the modules, right? Yeah. And then let's see here, the diffusion process, which is taking a blurry image, because remember, the way Stable Diffusion works, or any diffusion model, is you start out with a really blurry picture, right? And then you just bring it into focus, and as you focus it, you get it, you're like, does this look more like this or more like this? Does this look more like this or more like this? And all the same training that you're basically using to say, is that a dog or is that a cat? You're also looking at the fuzzy image like an ink blot test and saying, what does that look more like, a dog or a cat? And then you're like, okay, it's looking more like a cat, so let's sharpen it based on it being a cat. We're going to agree that it's a cat, and then sharpen it again. Oh, it still kind of looks like a cat. Oh, now it's looking more like a raccoon because like some of the features are starting to come through. Okay, so now I'm going to start moving towards sharpening it based on what features make it a raccoon. And it's that constant like zoom in. It's that zoom in enhance from basically a fuzzy image to a sharp image that gives you your. And it's weird because it's like I still can't really wrap my head around how that ends up giving you something that looks like something you can identify, But it does also make sense because it's like, it's doing the same thing your brain does. Like when you look at something, you're like, God, does that look like a letter? Does that look like a dog? Does that look like a cat? What is that? And then you get a little more information through your eyes and you're like, oh, okay, no, I can see it a little better now. Okay, I'm looking at it a little longer. I can now start seeing features. It's just mimicking what your brain's doing every time you're looking at something. So it would make sense that they could do the same thing from your brain, right? Like if you're looking at something and different parts of your brain are lighting up based on which cones in your eyes are receiving what light, you're going to be looking at it. It's going to be like, okay, well, does that look more like this or more like that? Does it look more like this or more like that? And it's eventually going to come to a similar conclusion. And based on the resolution of the scan, that is going to improve the resulting image. Based on, but again, it has to be trained on this data. Like obviously, to draw the picture of the teddy bear, to draw the picture of the airplane, it still needs to know what a teddy bear is and what an airplane is. You know, like if you typed it into a prompt, it should be able to generate that. Otherwise, it doesn't have any reference material. If you were thinking about something that no other person ever saw before, that didn't have any features that stood out to you, and it was basically like an ink blot, what it generates is going to be nothing like what you're actually looking at. It would have to be something that aligns with something in reality that it has examined at some level. Or at least a combination of things that if you combined them together, they would give you, you know, a similarity. But it's just like, so what this makes me think of is, okay, so if you just add an unlimited amount of processing power to this, let's say it's not a limiting factor at all. You have unlimited processing power and you can do this in real time. Could you take somebody born without eyeballs, put a camera on their head, and just take the frames of the camera, feed those directly into the brain by using this diffusion model in reverse, basically saying, okay, these are the areas of the brain that should light up or have some signal activity, and then feed that signal activity into the brain to light up those areas of the brain? Would you perceive having vision? Like that's what I wonder, is like, even though you don't have eyeballs, because at the end of the day, it's like your eyeballs are not what you see. They're just capturing light that's then converted into those electrical signals that go to your brain. And it's your visual cortex that's putting those signals together and creating what we see as an image, or what we think of as an image, right? It's like what we're seeing right now, we're not really seeing it, right? It's your brain computing that information from data that's being sent to it. So what happens if you take a camera and you take a bank of computers or whatever, and you take the camera image and you snap that, and then you feed it into a diffusion model so that it basically like looks at all the patterns in comparison and says, oh, with a like the hot dog or not, right? It's like, oh, that's a cat. That's obviously a cat. And next to the cat is a table, and next to that is a chair. And it takes all that and it feeds it into the model, but then the model transcribes that last resulting image back into all the data that would be the cones in your brain, or not the cones, but the data that would be sent to your brain from the cones receiving that light. It just translates that and puts it directly into your visual cortex. And would you see that? Would it be like watching a video? Like you wouldn't really be seeing it as it appears. You'd be seeing what the model was trained on, like whatever it approximately is. Like you wouldn't see the same cat. You wouldn't see the exact cat. You would just see a cat and know where the cat was in the room. It could be a completely different color. It could be a completely different breed. But you'd be like, I am seeing in real time a cat running around. It's just not the cat that you see.
Yeah.
Like that seems like plausible. That seems like something, because again, and if you had like something like a Neuralink, like on steroids, they could light up every single, like you had an individual wire that could light up every neuron in your brain at will. You could put somebody, like you wouldn't even need a holodeck, right? You could literally just hijack the senses, the ears, the nose, the mouth, everything, like everything. You could hijack the entire senses of the brain and create an experience that you would feel it'd be in reality. Like you would experience that 100% as reality just with wires hanging out of your brain.
Yeah.
And that seems completely plausible to me, because again, you experience like your vision, your smell, your taste, your sense of touch, every muscle in your body, every movement you're making is all translated through your brain stem, right? It's all going into your brain through a conduit, is streams of biological ones and zeros, right? So if you could hijack that and you had a computer that was sufficiently powerful that it could generate those signals in real time and even respond to you, like you responding to it and how your brain chemistry changes in response to what it's giving you, it can read that in and react to it. You could, in theory, like create a holodeck in your brain, like where you're just chilling back, like the old sci-fi, put the little thing on your temple or whatever and check out and you're fucking in your holodeck doing whatever you want. That blows my mind. And then check this out. What if you could take it one step further and alter the perception of time? Like we perceive time going by based on like how fast we're seeing things, how fast, like when you sleep, you lose perception of time. Like you'll have a dream that seems like it's 15 minutes and you slept 8 hours, right? What if you could do that on purpose? What if you could create a brain implant where it's like, I'm going to go on a 4-week vacation. I'm going to accumulate 4 weeks worth of stimulation and memories in my brain, but I'm going to just speed that process up a whole lot. And I'm also going to speed up the perception of the passage of time by manipulating those parts of your brain too, just like anesthesia, right? Where it's like in a blink, you're like, you just spent 4 weeks in Acapulco doing whatever, and you snap back and it's like, that was your lunch break at work. So it's like, you work an hour and you take a month off. You work an hour and you take a month off. Like that would be crazy. You live forever. Like
I mean, well, in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Well, like dreams, right? Like you can have a dream that you think lasts like a week or whatever, and it's an hour or two, and like the actual time is less than 15 minutes or whatever. Your brain can do all kinds of shit in just a short amount of time. It can give you all kind of weird perception. So yeah, why not?
This is starting to feel like all the shit that I've seen in like Black Mirror and stuff could be true.
You take a 10 minute. You could learn.
Yeah,
you could learn faster.
Dude, imagine being in an interview.
Knock yourself into a subconscious state where you're because it's consciousness that gets in the way, that slows you down. Knock yourself out, throw yourself, or I don't know, chemically induce yourself into a theta state or whatever, and what seemed like 10 years of training, it happened in 30 minutes.
Dude, it's the Matrix. This is literally the Matrix. Because if you could do this, just like Neo, where he's like, I need to learn martial arts, and he loads the martial arts program, and then he knows martial arts. But he experiences and knows and remembers all the training that he never did. It was training somebody else did, but he remembers it as if he did it. Right. So you could do something like that. You could be in the middle of a job interview and they ask you a really hard question that you know nothing about, and you could just like blink off, have that all downloaded or whatever wirelessly into your brain or whatever, then come back and be like, oh yeah, I'll answer your question. And it's like you left that interview a month ago, went and became an expert years ago. You spent 30 years becoming an expert in another lifetime on nuclear science, and then you snap back to the interview that from your perspective was 30 years ago, but it was literally 10 seconds ago. And then you're like, I know exactly what I need to do to get this job. Dude, this reminds me of Rick and Morty. You know what's the video game in Rick and Morty? The intergalactic video game where you like become, it's like Ted or something like that. You become a guy and live his life in the game and actually perceive the time.
Oh geez, I don't know.
Did you never see that? That is the greatest, like that's one of the best Rick and Morty episodes ever. Is they go to an intergalactic arcade and they play a game where the whole purpose of the game is you start out being born and you live an entire lifetime in the game. Like you put a cap on your head and it's like VR, right? And you live an entire lifetime in the game, and then at the end of the game you die, and when you die the game's over and you snap back into the you're in the arcade, and you're like, if you're not prepared for it, you're like, oh shit, what the fuck happened? Where's my parents? Where's my wife? Because you lived an entire life in that game, and then you suddenly snap back after you've like, you've Roy, that's what it was. The game was called Roy. Dude, it's fucking, if you haven't seen that, you should look that up after the show. It's hilarious. Like Roy would be possible. Like with this technology, Roy would be possible. Like you could literally have a game where it's like, hey, hey, what's up, Jim Devo? You could literally just go upstairs, fucking pop on your little headset or whatever, and live an entire alternate life, like from birth to death, being a rock star or fucking being whatever, and then you die, you trip and fall in the shower or whatever, and hit your head and die, and then you wake up where you left off, like right after you put that helmet on. You're like, where am I? Is this heaven? Like, oh my god, where's my and you're like, oh shit, that was all a video game. Because then you'd snap back and you remember like right before you were born, you're like, oh wait a second, I was playing a video game about being born and living the life of somebody. Dude, that would be fucked up. Blips and Chits, that's right, the name of the arcade. Dude, this opens up like just little things like this, like make it like we know it's possible. It's just a matter of getting, like, we know it's possible. If you can look at somebody's brain activity and draw an image of what they're thinking or what they're looking at, if you can do that, then that means that it's just a matter of refinement. It's a matter of technology, refinement, and speed. You could build on that, right? And if you can control with chemicals how somebody perceives something, and you can change how they store a memory, like people that have LSD trips and remember afterwards, like seeing sound and smelling words and shit like that. Like if you could do that and you could control that experience, there's no reason why you couldn't just it'd be Total Recall. Exactly. You just download fucking memories, like go on the internet and be like, I'm going to buy a movie, and you don't watch the movie. You actually are the action star living out the storyline, and it all really happened, but then you snap out of it and it stores it in a part of your brain that's like fantasy. Like you having a dream or a memory. Like when you're done with it, it gets stored like that so you don't go insane. Because you would go so fucking insane. Like if you were just like, you're like, oh, I'm gonna go play a video game. I'm gonna try this new technology out, and you stick the little thing on your head or whatever, and then you just wake up in a crazy place, and you're like, how the fuck did I get here? But you know it's a game at first. But then after like a week or a month or a year, at some point you're like, do I have psychosis? The game isn't over. I'm still here.
Yeah.
Like how would you cope with that?
Weird disconnects and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody would cope with that, dude. Like that would be the weirdest thing ever, because it's like from the perception of everybody else around you, you were just playing a game for like 5 minutes. But then you come out of the game and it's like you don't recognize people. Like you're like, holy shit, I have a whole nother life of memories stored in my head. What is real and what isn't? Like how would you react to that? Would you panic? Would you freak out? Like that's wild.
I think you could break your brain.
I think that's coming, dude. I really do. I mean, probably not in our lifetime, but I do think that that's coming. And then that draws out the question of going back to simulation theory, because we've talked about that before. It's like, if we're discovering that the technology exists to do this, what is the possibility that this has already happened and we're living that same life and that same evolution inside of the game, and we're going to die and just wake up in the next envelope that's like, oh, we just did a simulation of like mankind starting from, wherever you were born to wherever you died. We were just experiencing that, and you pop out and you're like, okay, it's your turn. You hand the controller to your friend. You're like, okay, you're going to play the Barnacules simulator. All right. Okay, cool. I'm going to go through the Barnacules. It just seems like that would be plausible at that point, because if we can come to the conclusion that that's how the human brain works and we can create the technology to do something like that, then it would stand to reason that it's already been done.
Yeah.
Dude, this shit breaks your brain, man. I know why people go crazy now. Like, seriously, the more you think about it, it's like, it's cool, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, it creates paradoxes in your head where it's like, is anything real? Or because of this, is what I'm experiencing right now real? If I can just fucking dump some shit into my brain and make it real? Like, I don't know. It starts making you question things for sure. The 13th Floor? Is that like a show or something?
It's a movie in the 90s.
Oh, I'll have to go back and watch that. Hey, Lex Neville. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's a trip. It's a really good, I don't want to spoil it, but it's really good. It's got kind of it starts off as a murder mystery, kind of noir detective kind of thing. And it gets real trippy and touches on similar themes. I liked it. It's good. It's good. I highly recommend it.
I'm just thinking a lot of the shit that we're coming up with is becoming reality now, like ion drives and shit. We've got those now. Quantum entanglement and the potential for like transportation of energy, at least, right? Bending space-time, right? Like I don't know, man. I feel like all the shit that people just come up with is like science fiction. Like that raises a generation of kids that want to make that a reality. And so they go learn everything and do everything they can on that path to make that a reality. And then at some point that becomes the reality. But then we base our next generation of sci-fi on something that seems intangible now, but it'll definitely be tangible in the future.
It blows my mind how much science fiction is like reality these days. I mean,
GPTs, I never thought that would exist. In my lifetime, in anybody's lifetime, I never thought you would be able to just like go to a website and type shit in and have like a very human response from something that has like the collective human knowledge. Like I never thought that the internet would ever be, honestly, I never thought that we'd even have like voice to speech when I was a kid. Like when I was a kid, I didn't think you'd be talking to your fucking phone, picking up, hey, set me an alarm in the morning. It used to, remember the first generation of the technology was like set alarm 3:00 p.m. Like you had to be very precise. And now it's like, hey Siri, what's up? Like create an alarm tomorrow for like whatever the fuck time. I want to sleep in for 15 minutes. Oh sure, I can do that for you.
Yeah, I cannot wait until there's better natural language processing for virtual assistants. Lawnmower Man, similar sort of thing. Yeah. Well,
iOS is going to do it. They're going to yank out just like Cortana in Windows. They're going to refab Siri to use a GPT.
Good.
So you're going to be like, hey Siri, what's up? Like, yo, I want you to start talking to me like you're this person or whatever, and I want you to treat me as your love interest instead of your operator. Oh, sure, I can do that. And it'll just happen. There's already a dude that did that. Like, I wanted to do a video on YouTube, but of course everything falls apart like everything in my goddamn life right now. But sorry, my phone. There's somebody created a shortcut using iOS shortcuts where you basically replace Siri with Super Siri, and Super Siri uses OpenAI. So you pay for OpenAI, you tie it into the API key, and now when you ask Siri to do something, instead of Siri responding, it passes that to OpenAI over the internet, and then gets the text response back, and then reads that back as Siri. So what you eventually, so it's like Jarvis basically. You just talk to your phone, and it'll do anything. Instead of Siri going, I don't know how to do that, you can be like, hey Siri, like what would be the best stock investment right now based on blah 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 blah, and it'll actually go out and use OpenAI with the GPT-4 plugin for the internet. Look at the NASDAQ, look up the stack, reply back, and actually give you a reply and be like, oh, based on what you asked for, this is the best thing that you should do. And you can't get it to do things yet. It'll only give you a response. Like if you ask it a question, it'll give you a response. You can't say, hey Siri, go, I want you to go extrapolate this and create appointments based on this schedule that you extrapolated. Like it can't do that yet. But if iOS integrates it at that level, it would be able to do that. In the next version of Windows, well, not the next version, the next update to Windows, major update, they're putting in a feature now where Cortana's gone. They're going to kill Cortana. And then in this Windows 11 update, the search box in Windows is basically going to be tied directly into OpenAI. But it's going to also be able to do things on your computer using OpenAI. So you're going to be able to actually just go type into a chat box, I want you to change my background to an image of a cat. And it will actually go out to OpenAI, find an image of a cat, and then feed that in as your background image and make your background a cat. So there's going to be no more you having to like, oh, how do I change my background? It gives you instructions like, oh, click on this and click on this. But no, it'll just do it.
Yeah.
And they said it's going to do the same thing for command prompts. Like if you want, oh, hey, I would like you to connect to a website from the command prompt and like print out the current temperature in Seattle in the command prompt. It'll do it. It'll open the command prompt and actually print out the weather. You know, create a Python script. I want you to create a Python script and run it. It'll go, shut up. Okay, stop. it'll install, like if you say, hey, I want to install Python, it'll just go download Python and install it. You don't have to actually, oh, click here to go download Python and then follow the instructions. No, you just say, I want to install Python, and it'll do it. So like Windows is going to turn into just talk to your computer and it'll just do what you want. Like I want to install a game. Okay, I want to play Halo. It's going to be like, okay, well, you need to install it. And be like, okay, install it. It's going to cost you $20. Okay, buy it with my MasterCard on file. Okay, cool. There it is. It's installing right now. Would you like me to run it after you're done? Yeah, sure. So it's going to be, in the future, it's like the keyboard is going to eventually die. Like, there's going to be no purpose to the keyboard because you're just going to sit there and just talk to your damn computer and it's going to write all this complex code. And if you need to edit something, you're just going to look at it. You're just going to look at it and think what the edit is, or just look at it and say what the edit is. It's just going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's going to be wild. And I think that is stuff that could potentially happen in my lifetime. Dude, that's crazy. Time flies, dude. It's already 2 p.m.
I know, right? Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up this week. But there's your mind fuck of the week is like fMRI extracting images, like, and generating them from generative. So it's, again, just to be clear here, it's not recording the image from your eyes. Like, you're not looking at something. It's just like, oh, your eyes sent this data and reconstructing it. It's looking at how your brain processed what you were looking at. Like, what was your brain doing at the moment that you were looking at something? And then using just that raw image of your brain activity to have a GPT go, oh, I'm going to guess what you were thinking of. And I'm going to generate something that's up to 84% close to what you were thinking of. That's fucking crazy, dude. That like our dreams, it's just a matter of time before we not only record our dreams, but playing them back. That'll be the first thing that'll happen is playback, dude. Because think about it, it's really difficult to record something and like quantify it in the computer and then like create something new from it. It's way easier to just record something and play it back. So if your brain being in a certain heightened state generates a certain image, like from you dreaming, there's going to be a point where you just record that and you just hit play and it's going to just feed those signals through little wires back into those neurons, and your brain is just going to repeat that state again, and you're going to be able to relive that dream exactly how it was. Every night when you go to bed, you just hit a button, and if you have a dream that you really love that you want to go back to, just keep pushing the button and playing it back, and that should be possible. Fucking wild, dude. That I could see that cool in our too
lifetime. Oh man, and like being able to like restore, or not restore maybe, or just better recall of memory and things like that. Man.
Dude, the future is going to be wild. So hang on. As long as we don't destroy ourselves. That's the trick. As long as we don't destroy ourselves, hey, we'll be good to go. All right, guys. Take it easy. We'll see you next week. If you guys want to see what we're doing on our own, I stream on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You stream also on Twitch. Well, you're not going to probably be streaming on Twitch. We forgot to talk about that.
I don't know, man. I haven't streamed. I haven't done any real live streams other than driving for a while now. So
yeah. So I'm also going to be getting back in. Star Citizen. I gotta pick my ship this week, but a person's hooking me up with a starter pack. Did you want to play some Star Citizen? Do a stream sometime?
I mean, I can give it a shot. Sure.
Jumping in there and playing it.
Yeah,
I've never played it before. I want to try it. I want to set up my little HOTAS joystick and go live as a Star Citizen for a day, and I'll probably live stream it. When I do that, if you're available, you want to jump in on that?
Yeah,
dude, rock on.
Oh, there's just a little update. I was like, I thought I did this already, but there's an update, just a little one.
Always. All right, guys.
Yeah,
We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Love your faces. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats as always.
For the 19.99, Jotachi. Thank you.
Yeah, Jotachi, you're a legend. Oh, dude, he just did that. Holy crap. Okay, well, we gotta give him a send off here. I'll just saturate the room. Here we go. I'm just gonna fill my entire room with smoke, and then when I disappear, I'll end the stream. Here we go. Oh God, this is crazy. Oh my gosh, this is. I mean, can you even see anything right now? Or is
the
lights
blinking? It's clearing out. It's clearing out.
All right, that's the way we'll end it. Thank